And we are live. What is up, everybody? Aaron the Dog back with breakdown number 2 of the day. And it's the important one. I got the banner right. Sweet. UFC 272. Covington versus Masvidal, the long-awaited rivalry. Whatever. This is the first time I've had 4 people on stream. A few of these people you should be familiar with. We've got, first of all, Boston Comments herself, Bunny, making her pay-per-view appearance as usual. We've got Lewis of Norton MMA and breaking his Aaron the Dog cherry. Congratulations, Josh Byers. I will be gentle with you today in front of the crowd. How you doing?
Feels good. I'm doing great. Ready to talk about it.
Absolutely. How's everybody else doing? I don't know how to talk to so many people. Bunny, how are you?
Excited
Yeah, I can tell. Take down that enthusiasm a little, please. And Lewis, I saw you like an hour ago.
Yeah, you know how I am. I'm ready to go.
You're great. Well, yeah, it's good to be here with everybody. But before we get started with our breakdown, we have a special guest. It's honestly one of the few guests I can rely on and actually advertise ahead of time. And, until I regret otherwise. That is Miss Jillian the Savage Robertson joining us. So we have our first 5-way here on Aaron the Dog stream. Jillian, how are you?
I'm doing great. I'm 10 days out. I'm ready to fight.
And you're in bright old Las Vegas, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm currently in Vegas. I don't know when they're going to turn the heating on back here. We already turned it back on in Florida, and it's still like 50 degrees over here. So I'm like, it's too cold.
50 degrees is we're wearing shorts here. So we would take that any day. But thank you so much for making the time in between sessions today. I'll kind of give the generic question right off the bat. Where are you kind of training and preparing these last couple weeks as you're out in Vegas?
My coach, Dean Thomas, he's going to be commentating for the Masvidal Covington card this weekend. So he had to be out here in Vegas. So I decided to finish up my camp out here in Vegas. Took the fight on a little over 2 weeks' notice. So just kind of last-minute decisions. And so I'm doing it mostly just at the PI, working with Dean, and then getting some bodies at Extreme Couture, working with their girls there.
Shout out to Extreme Couture. Yeah, it's a camp that we definitely respect here and everything. Facing JJ Aldrich next weekend, actually, March 12th. So, once again, still waiting for the main card, Jillian, to show up as Priscilla Cachoeira is getting into co-main event territory. But anyways, I won't bring up any more of that. She also got a bonus last week. I'm just, curious when the Jillian Robertson bonus is coming. But either way, maybe your 7th finish will be the one. My question with JJ Aldrich, though, this is a really impressive opponent to take on 2 weeks' notice. I don't think a lot of fighters in this division are looking to do that. What was your mindset when you got the call?
It's definitely a tough matchup. And JJ's no scrub. She's not someone who's just gonna she's well-rounded everywhere. She's obviously more of a boxer, but she's good everywhere. She's someone who's tough. She's not going to be easy to take out, but I'm a gamer and I'm down for this. So it's like, that's what I'm here for. I'm a fighter, so we're here to fight, and I'm excited for it. My is going to be a dirty fight. Got to use a lot of knees, a lot of elbows, and it's going to be a fun one.
Yeah, and shout out, and then I'm going to pass it over to Josh. We're just kind of going to go around with questions here for a few minutes. Don't have a lot of time, but we appreciate it for sure. But yeah, Josh, kind of what questions? Go ahead.
Where do you normally train out of? Do you have a base camp, or are you just kind of traveling? I know David Evans goes out to Vegas and then has a hometown, but it's Dean your guy that you're just kind of, that's your main coach, head coach.
Yeah, I've actually worked with Dean since I was 16 years old. So it's he's been my head coach for the last almost 11 years now.
And you're 26?
Yeah, he's the only one I really work with, and then we just travel and we get bodies places. So it's I work with David Evans, I work with Shorty Torres a lot, but Dean's my head coach. He's the really the one we look to for direction, and then every else we travel is just to get different looks, different bodies, different types of I don't know, just different thing. You need different types of looks when you're going to the cage. You don't know what you're getting, so it's we get the different bodies everywhere.
What's been your favorite place you've ever like trained at, if you had to pick one?
I don't know. There's a couple in Florida that I really enjoy. Like down in Miami, there's the Goat Shed that's pretty awesome. They have obviously Fusion up in Orlando. I train with Hannah Goldie all the time up there. There's a couple of gyms that I feel like I get good work and there's just good vibes in the gym.
Yeah, that's awesome. Like JJ Aldrich's an amazing opponent. You're on the come up as well, so I can't wait for this fight.
She's been on the come up. She's been on the come up since she's
coming up.
Is winning.
Coming up. It's an exciting time for you for sure.
Yeah, I think that one thing and now I'll turn it over to you, Bunny, for a question or two. But I think one thing that I constantly am kind of shocked about when I'm going over Jillian Robertson is that you're 26 years old. Again, you've been in the UFC since you were 21, correct?
22.
22. Okay, sorry, 22, and that was after. And who was the fight you had? Like you led up with a Cynthia Calvillo fight. You fought Hannah Goldie outside the UFC. You fought. I mean, you haven't ever really taken easy fights. And
it was, when I got into the UFC, I tried out for the Ultimate Fighter I fought Hannah Cyphers, and we fought on Saturday. It was my birthday.
You beat Hannah Cyphers.
I knocked out Hannah Cyphers. Then it was my birthday on the Wednesday, so I turned 22 that week, and then that Friday I flew out to Vegas to try out for the Ultimate Fighter. So that was all 1 week for me.
Yeah, it's just like, again, these are things that I'm not sure why the UFC likes to kind of keep a secret and hidden, but it's just like I scream from the rooftops here. It's like, this is no secret. This is a Savage exclusive podcast. Like, I mean, everybody who shows up, if they want to call me a homer for Savage, I think that's for good reason. I've said this over and over again. I'll say it in front of you. I probably said it in front of you before. I feel that you are, yeah, exactly. I feel you are the most underrated fighter in the UFC. And I just don't understand why, the UFC seems to fail to realize this. And you, again, have 6 finishes in the flyweight division. That's a UFC record. You have 0 bonuses. That's not a UFC record.
See, that's where my question comes in.
Yeah, go ahead, Bunny.
You think so? If she were to finish JJ Aldrich, which I believe she's going to, I mean, you just that last one where you held on tighter after that second eye gouge, you were like, "Oh, fuck you, Priscilla." That was incredible. I think I watched that 500 times. Do you think JJ they'll finally give you a fucking bonus? Do you think that's when they'll be able to?
There's so many times where I'm like, I think I might be getting it this time, and then it's just like
buzzer beating submissions with no hooks in, like incredibly crazy armbar angles. I'm sorry for the Brit here in Lewis, putting Molly McCann to fucking sleep in goddamn Liverpool in her fucking men. Now Molly McCann is one of the biggest Savage fans in the world. I feel whenever you can make your opponent your biggest fan or like one of your biggest supporters, that says something about you as a fighter. So like, again, if the 7th bonus doesn't get you a bonus, I'm going to get arrested.
When I finished Sarah Froda in Canada, I was sitting there and I was like, that was
overweight Sarah Frota with elbows. Missed weight by 5 pounds, Sarah Frota with elbows.
I'm like,
no bonus. They said, fuck you.
Let her finish.
Sorry.
I went out there and I was like, that might have been good enough to get a performance bonus. I was thinking like I might have got it. And I was like just refreshing Twitter, like checking, trying to see. And then from like 2 doors down from me, I hear someone scream. They're like, 50 G's, baby. And I was like, damn it.
Oh,
it's just crazy. It's crazy to me. And, yeah. But Lewis, go ahead and your elegant questions, sir.
Elegant question. Well, because of the accent. My common accent in Britain. Yeah. No, I'm just going to ask, all your grappling recently as well, do you reckon that's one of the reasons you took the short notice? Do you think you're coming in pretty much on point with weight and, your cardio is not going to be affected at all? Is the short notice affecting you at all is basically what I'm asking.
I feel like generally that's me. I'm on weight and my cardio is on point. I'm always training twice a day, every day. I don't really take like an off season from camp. I'm always in camp. I'm always working. So it's like to take a short notice fight isn't a huge deal for me. Ideally, I would like to have like 4 weeks would be perfect for me. Just enough time to really like study the opponent and game plan and get like ideally what I would like. But Like I got 2.5 weeks, and that's good enough.
Yeah. And the game plan is to get in close, make it dirty, as you say.
Yeah, I feel like that's the way to win the fight. She's obviously a very good striker. I feel like primarily her boxing is crisp. So we want to try to keep it close. It doesn't really matter if she defends 1 or 2 takedowns, because that's when I'm going to land my knees. That's when I'm going to land my elbows and do more damage. And then we're going to get the takedown eventually, and I'm going to get the throat.
That's beautiful. Honestly,
usually it's the neck, but no, the throat. We're going for the throat.
No, she's throat cuddling, not neck cuddling, and she doesn't need the hooks. We saw Terrence McKinney do the no hook choke this weekend. It looked kind of familiar to a choke that you had kind of put in there.
Eye gouges to work through, though, did he?
Yeah, exactly. But either way, Jillian, we could talk to you all day. I know that you are getting ready to go train for the third time today. All the best with your preparation to make the time during short notice fight camp, especially. We all are extremely grateful for you making the time. I'm kind of a fan of you. So, all the best. We all are. And we'll look forward to breaking down your fight next week. Be on the edge of your seats, guys, for who I'm going to pick between Jillian Robertson and JJ Aldridge. I wonder. But hopefully I can get you at plus money. But if not, I'll forgive you again. But thanks for joining us, Jillian. Have a great day.
It was a pleasure talking to you guys. Have a good one.
Thanks. Peace.
Bro, she's the fucking greatest, man. She's it's just because she doesn't have a fucking OnlyFans. Like,
it really is just that. Like, I'm like, I don't know what else it is, but
it's not enough to have one, and she doesn't. She posts only pictures of her training, and that's the only reason why Dana's like,
I agreed with Eddie here. Edward Martinez Photography. Check him out on YouTube. He's gonna have some awesome stuff coming up.
Oh yeah, Bunny, you had a bet with Edward, right?
Oh, you're just gonna bring that up, aren't you?
I'll go ahead and timestamp that. What is the bet that we're talking about?
I have to dye my hair platinum, so the delay is I have to research how to dye my hair. I've never done it before, so
is that like
studying on how to do it?
Is that like platinum blonde, or is that like silver? I don't. We're good. It's platinum.
Platinum is.
I don't know what
okay.
color that is.
I don't either. We're gonna find out.
We're gonna find out probably live on Fight Bananas Instagram too. So
that's my fault for picking Julian Lane. You fucking jackass.
I mean, I can't think of one time when it would be a good idea to pick Julian Lane in any form of combat sports. So you kind of deserve that.
UFC 272, right? That's what we're talking
about.
Yeah,
UFC 272, which Julian Lane is not on. He has not been to UFC since I believe 2001, maybe 2000. I don't know. I'm just kidding, but
Tapology, baby.
Yeah, Tapology. We'll pull it up and we'll do our Julian Lane breakdown now. Okay, it's telling me to change my password. Don't worry about that. There was a data breach on Tapology, apparently.
What is your
I think it's no. I'm not gonna. I was really about to say it. I'm not smart enough to come up with something fake. We got 13 fights to break down tonight, as always. Timestamps will be in the description after the broadcast. I haven't put the ones for the Cage Warriors up, so we get to do both after that. Fun. But yeah, gang shit indeed. There's no loyalty. There's no loyalty in here. Josh getting right in here and calling out Bunny for her bet. And then,
I think it'll look good. I think it'll look good.
And then one more. This is pretty funny from Eddie saying we might have to reach out to Perry for help. So yeah, let's get into a 272 breakdown. I will make sure to put in the timestamp Bunny bet starting at 11:32. But the 272 breakdown starts now, and we are starting at the 205 division. I think we got there's sometimes fights that are a little bit difficult to break down. Other times they're a little bit easier to break down. This goes into the second category for me. Maybe the name's not easy to say, but Dustin Jacoby versus Michelle Olajaychuk, also known as Hussar now, which is some sort of ancient army in Georgia, I believe, or Poland. I don't know. He used to be Lord, but now Michelle is Hussar. 16-4 for the very unassuming yet hard-hitting middleweight. 27 years old, still 2 straight wins. He's coming off of with a split of Modestus, which was
which he lost.
R.I.P. Modestus.
Yeah. Modestas had a very tough run in the UFC. I will say that much. For a guy who got to like get a knockout by them opening the cage on the opponent, remember that with Michailidis? They just opened the cage and stooged him. They're like, he's so out of it. He fell off a cage when it opened. It's like that was not his fault. But either way, got the win there. But yeah, Modestas, I feel he lost as well. And then Shamil Gamzatov, maybe the most unimpressive 14-0 guy I've ever seen in my entire life, was gassed after 70 seconds. Like he had his hands on his head. It was unreal. Knocked him out. But before that, Jimmy Crute and Ovince St. Preux won by submission. That's for the most part how I think you're going to trip up Olejniczak, honestly. But Jacoby doesn't exactly do that. He's a kickboxer. He's a very technical kickboxer. He's 6-0-1 in his last 7 in MMA. Went over to Glory for a while, got outclassed over there for the most part, but seemed to bring some skills back over. For me, the question with this fight is all about can Michel catch Jacoby in the first round? Because I think if he does, I think he's going to put him away. But if Jacoby gets kind of past the slow starts he's been having over these last few, I think Jacoby just starts to cruise as this goes. The leg kicks is a real difference for me also. It's going to establish the distance, and Michel is very, very heavy on his front leg. And when he loses, it's when he can't kind of control the foot position. So I'm going to go with Jacoby here. I think that Michel is going to start shooting for takedowns, and that's going to be when it's really done. Because even if Michel gets a takedown or two, he can't wrestle for 15 minutes. And so I definitely like Jacoby in this spot. Melissa, good for you. I'm glad to see you here as well. But yeah, I got Jacoby here by decision. I'm going to start with Josh, and then I'm kind of going to rotate it. I guess I'll lead in and rotate you guys. So next fight, it would be Bunny. Next fight, Lewis, just so you guys know. I'm still trying to figure this out.
I'm not official picks.
There's no official picks from Bunny, fine, but I still want thoughts from everybody. So that's why we're here. Josh.
I usually like to wait till weigh-ins just to see them face off for that first time. I feel like Dustin is just going to look, or maybe in the cage too, once they rehydrate. Jacoby's just going to be a lot bigger and longer than Olas Kusna. And I don't know if I have to say his name.
Olejniczak, something like that. It's
I'll say it correctly in a second, don't worry.
The cat got on the keyboard with that one. But Jacoby, he's been putting on a run. I think I usually go to a guy named James Krause for picks every week because he's usually pretty damn spot on, or Aaron the dog. But that was one of his locks already, is Jacoby. And I really can't see it. Look at that. 4 or 5 in a row. No losses in his last 5. Got the draw. Jacoby's longer. He's got the kickboxing experience. He's a way better striker, I feel like. And I don't think Olejniczak get it to the
Michel. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and he also exclusively throws punches. He throws 1% of his strikes or kicks.
I can't see it going to the ground, and I see the striking advantage with Jacoby. So we'll see if Jacoby makes a statement and can actually put together a finish instead of going 3 rounds of, edging it out with the unanimous or even a split. I think he's going to come in here and try to make a statement and really put the kicks together against Michel.
So you like a kind of a technical kickboxing display for a decision?
I do. I think he keeps them away with the kicks, keeps them off of them, has really crisp, sharp striking with the hands and the feet this fight. And then Michel, the level of competition, that's what it does for me. I really think Modestas was a good fighter too. I was upset when he got cut from the UFC, but yeah, Michel, I don't think won that fight either with that split decision. So if he comes in and performs, then good for him. But I like every time you got a card and Jacoby starts it off, that's a good night, I would say. So I like.
It's kind of crazy with him being 6-0-1 as 7 that he's still opening cards. But either way, Bunny, any thoughts that you maybe have on this matchup?
Yeah, I think Jacoby is actually going to get the finish. It probably would be late in the fight, but I have him getting the finish. I've noticed on preliminary cards there's a lot more finishes than there are on the main card. And as Josh just said, he's coming out to make a statement. His record's there. His opponents have been really, really good, and I think this is his time to sort of get the finish. So I have Jacoby by a late TKO somewhere in the later rounds. So
yeah, do you see the finish? I see the finish.
I see the finish, absolutely, because I mean the preliminary card is when these motherfuckers go fucking hard. It's less of a chess game and more of a I'm coming to end you. And I think Michelle's going to come out a little bit too cocky, and I think Jacoby's going to get the finish. But I think it'll be in the later rounds. I don't think it won't be round one.
What makes you think he'll come out cocky?
Olajichuk. Who?
It's Olajichuk.
Yeah, what makes you think he's going to come out all cocky?
I just think I don't know. It's the opening card on a huge, hyped up 272 card. He's going against Dustin Jacoby. That's a firm.
Coming off a quick knockout, maybe he's looking to get another knockout.
They both might not necessarily cocky, but with vigor. So I think
that line was a little.
I think Michelle might gas himself out a little bit too early, and then by the later rounds, Jacoby could take advantage and
yeah, and we'll get to a line in 1 second. But yeah, Lewis, what are your kind of thoughts on this fight?
I'm the opposite way. I'm completely the opposite way. He's undersized for the weight class, which is nervous, but not at this kind of level. When you fight in the Dustin Jacobys, yeah, he's very undersized at 6 foot. He should be a welterweight, really. He's got the same reach as I do. So, and I'm 6 foot. It's I feel like if he's against like someone like Johnny Walker, he's going to be a complete disadvantage in size. Dustin Jacoby doesn't use the reach that well. He's not a finisher at all. He's super slow paced. He kind of is relying on the opponent to get gassed more than use his own cardio to his advantage.
Mm-hmm.
I whenever he goes against someone like this, I don't think he looks great either. He struggled in the first round in his last fight. With Jan Kutalaba, Kutalaba nearly put him away. That fight, yeah, he should have. Yeah, I mean, Darren Stewart was beating the snot out of him before he got caught. John Allen really made him push his pace in the first round, and he's not a quick starter. And
right. Well, he used to be. He had
He's a quick starter. Yeah, his kickboxing record was it like 10-9 or something. He's got a lot of knockouts, but he's been knocked out a lot as well. He gets hit a lot early on in the fights, and that's where Alexei Cooks actually performs well.
Right.
I like him. I think Michael's going to do it. I don't know why you call him Michelle.
Right. We've been calling him Michelle.
His name's Michael. Yeah.
It's not Michelle.
That's how.
He's not a girl or Brazilian. No.
Yeah, I thought he was from the Polish part of Brazil. Yeah, but either way, I'll apologize for leading the
Mikkel,
Mikkel, whatever. I mean, if I get it, and
I'm still calling her Michelle. Fuck you, Norton.
Yeah, hold on. I got to talk to New York. Hey, New York Tutors. Welcome to Aaron the Dog's channel. I don't know if you're familiar, but yeah, Harold and Maude. Great movie. Go check it out. But yeah, I don't know if that's a sick burn or not, but you got me good there. Minus 185 on Dustin Jacoby, plus 160 on Mikkel, whatever you want to call him, the Polish guy. So Lewis, Lord, Hussar now, there's just so many, these demand of many names. Two of us, Josh and I with Jacoby, while Lewis is with Norton. No official pick from Bunny, just to be clear for anybody who's watching. But we'll move on to the next fight here. Should be the weirdest fight I think we break down on this card. This fight is odd. Ludovic Klein, who last year was the next big thing at 145 after he knocked out Shane Young when he missed weight, is now on a little bit of a slide now, taking on Devontae Smith on short notice at 155. So this is a very, very kind of bizarre fight. And we'll talk about that line movement in a minute because I don't really understand it either. This is at 155. Ludovic Klein, 17-4 out of Slovakia. He's back training with Spartacus Fight Gym. He came over, trained with Sanford MMA for a while. And most people who train with Sanford MMA get a little bit better. He seemed to go the opposite way. Didn't seem to work for him. He actually went back over to Slovakia to train with Spartacus for this camp. So we'll see if he can kind of recapture previously what he had. But 5'7", 72-inch reach, taking on the 5'9", so not a really tall fighter in Devontae Smith, but has a 76 to, I've seen as long as 78-inch reach listed for Devontae Smith out of Factory X Muay Thai. 11-3. Devontae Smith, he's not. Yeah, so far I've done pretty well on his picks. I've never missed a pick on Tapology of his, so that's great. But yeah, he's alternated wins and losses over his last few. Got knocked out by Kama Worthy in a kind of weird fight where they were like training together, but like then like they decided to take the fight on short notice. And Devontae kind of just showed as soon as he gets cracked, he goes down. Like he's got a very, very suspect chin. Malarkey exposed it as well. We'll be talking about Jamie Malarkey here in a little bit. But yeah, just once he kind of got inside on that jab of Devontae Smith, I think there was a lot of problems. The thing is, like Ludovic, I think is going to, because of his striking style, he's obsessed with his left high kick. He's obsessed with that. Just like he throws it all the time. It's what
left shots in general, isn't it?
Yeah, and so he's going to be fighting this fight at a range that Devontae Smith needs it and wants it at. And like that's just like for me, I think going to kind of be a death nail for Ludovic. He's a 1-round fighter from what I've seen with the gas. So maybe his gas improves by moving up to 155, but the range he's going to want this at to get the kicks at is where Devontae Smith wants this fight. I think Devontae Smith's movement, jab, and everything, I just think is going to work for him throughout the fight. I don't know if he gets the finish or not, but either way, I think that Devontae Smith has this pre-handled, and I'm really surprised that all the line movements come in on Ludovic Klein here at 155 on short notice. It doesn't really make sense to me, but yeah. I'll start with
155.
What's that?
Is it Klein is minus 155?
Well, no. I'm saying this fight being at 155.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were saying
yeah, and then I'll get to that. And the odds are, also interesting because Devontae Smith was a minus 230 yesterday, and today he's a minus 160. So all the money is coming on Ludovic Klein. They're expecting that when Ludovic connects with his strikes, that he's going to put Devontae Smith away. I'm not as convinced about that. Devontae Smith also has extremely underrated grappling and wrestling. And I think that could be a route he very well goes as Ludovic starts to gas, which even on short notice up a weight class, I think is going to be pretty big. So I like Devontae Smith in the spot. I'm not sure if he gets the finish or not. So the under 1.5, I'm not going to touch visceral, but I like Devontae Smith in this. I think he's more well-rounded. He's an actual 155er, and the range this is going to be fought at is going to be tough for the 72-inch reach of Ludovic Klein. Bunny, I'm going to go to you first for this on just kind of your thoughts, and then we'll go to Lewis, and then Josh can wrap it up.
Right, Lewis. I've got no comments on this fight. It's
Okay.
Tough fight.
Interesting to me. Go ahead, Lewis.
Yeah, Lewis.
Okay, that's fine. No, I completely agree with you. I think Klein he adores any strike from the left, which is bizarre. So to me, that's super easy to telegraph.
Yeah.
He's you've got Devontae Smith, who's a very good striker, very technical, darts in and out really well. He's got really explosive power, can go 3 rounds no problem. A lot of late finishes on his record. Unless he gets clipped early, I can't see Klein hanging in with him over 3 rounds. I think he might win a first round, might steal it. Round 2 and 3, I think it's Smith all day. But I think Smith's going to finish him early as well. I think the weight difference and not fighting at this weight before could cause an issue. And I like the fight, to be honest. It's a weird one to put above Jacoby, which is
I'm done looking into fight orders. I just have decided they put the worst fight in the co-main event.
Oh yeah, Parker Porter syndrome. Yeah, it's I think this is a good fight, but I think Devontae's going to win it. I think if he can't get him out, if they're really, I think he's going to get him out of there no matter what. But I think it's going to.
Okay, you do like the so you like a finish for Devontae here.
Yeah, I do.
Well, I like it.
All right, very nice. And then Josh, what are your thoughts on this one?
This is a really tough fight for me to break down. I remember Ludovic was a huge favorite against Nate Landwehr, which was they had a lot of respect for him in Vegas against Nate Landwehr, and Landwehr overpieced him just way better strikes in that fight. But Ludovic did come back and kind of make it competitive. He was able to show that he can get in a bit of a firefight and hang in there with a guy. And Devontae Smith is pretty similar to a guy like Nate Landwehr, just striking wise, size wise, ability. So. Maybe it's a good matchup for Ludovic Klein to he's faced a guy like this with good striking, good speed. a little bit wild in there. Sometimes.
Yeah, but the frame of Devontae is so much longer than Nate Landwehr's T-Rex arms.
Yeah. But,
Like,
I mean,
Nate Landwehr's got tiny little arms.
if little bit gets it to the ground, I could see him having an advantage with Smith. And I don't know if Smith.
Oh, I disagree.
You don't
I think
so?
I think on the ground, Devontae Smith would sweep him if he did get him down. I think Devontae Smith is the much better grappler.
And I think
go to the ground at all?
Well, with Justin James, who is allegedly a wrestler, he tried to wrestle with Devontae, and Devontae ended up out wrestling him.
Well, I won't take any stock in Justin James wrestling.
Guitar Hero. Guitar Hero, baby.
I don't know. Maybe that's where we see this fight kind of where they separate themselves is on the ground. I could see Smith maybe overextending on a couple strikes, Ludovic being able to threaten a couple submissions, maybe to get a more dominant position on Smith, release some ground and pound. If he can hold him down, I think he could potentially do some good here. But this fight is just something I want to stay away from because I don't know. I think it's going to be a really competitive fight.
So you're going with Klein, it sounds like. It sounds like you're going with the dog.
No.
I don't think I can make a pick here.
What is with the what the welcome to the prediction show, Josh. God damn.
If it's a prediction show, yeah, give me Klein, I guess.
There we go. Have some balls. There we go. He's taking the plus 140, dog. You missed the line movement on Klein, unfortunately, when it was at around plus 200 yesterday. But
I like what I saw from him in the Landwehr fight, even though he lost and he got finished. I like what I saw from him. Devontae Smith, I don't know.
Thank you for letting me peer pressure you into a pick there.
You have to, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'm a good host. I can't have half of the people not make a pick. I can't this is not like a court of law. You are allowed to change your picks later. You're allowed to be wrong on picks. I promise you, I've gotten 100 plus picks wrong on here. It's not that bad. It's kind of fun.
You guys
lock my picks in as we go.
But yeah, I love you guys. I only make fun of you because I care. Next fight is at 125 here. This is at least how I see them fight previous, this feels like it's kind of the opposite of the first two fights, where these guys don't have the best stand-up. Tim Elliott and Tagir Ulanbekov. I don't know who has the better stand-up between these guys, but I think for the most part, both these guys are going to want to wrestle. Both these guys are going to want to grapple. And, that seems like kind of a recipe for Elliott to have some success. But I honestly, this one for me, I didn't overthink it too much. At first, I was like, ooh, Elliott. And then the Elliott I really was thinking about was about 4 or 5 years ago. Elliott, he has started to slow down. He really has. And I just think that he's a little bit figured out here. I don't think that Tagir is going to have trouble getting on top of him, to be honest. And I don't see Elliott having much success from the bottom. I do think it's going to be mostly a grappling fight. I don't see a lot of stand-up in this one for the most part. So maybe I'm wrong here. But I didn't overthink it too much here. Tagir has not impressed me so far in his UFC run. And really, the tape outside the UFC isn't that great either. But I think he ends up taking Elliott here. I think this is the type of matchup. This isn't the type of matchup in this division where he's exposed. I think Tagir is going to be exposed with some of the more challenging stand-up opposition in the 125. But Elliott is a straight grappler, and I think that Tagir is just going to be too much for him, too big for him, too good of a wrestler. Kind of boring, but yeah, decision.
Oh, decision. Okay.
Yeah, Tim Elliott's impossible to finish, I think.
Yeah, he's a machine, but I think he is possible to kind of stay on top of. But
he's been choked out multiple times, sir.
And yeah,
he's impossible to finish unless you get him in a ring.
He's only been finished like 6 times. He's only been finished like 6 times, Lewis.
Well, with strikes, that's different. Because if you're getting knocked out,
yeah.
But
Tagir's not knocking out anybody. If you're betting a Tagir knockout, go seek some help.
Yeah, he's hard to finish, but he's easy to hit.
Yeah, but either way, next person to break down would be Lewis for this fight. So, Lewis, go ahead and give me your thoughts on it. Sorry, I worded that so weirdly. I kind of got lost where I was.
Yes, Master Yoda, yeah. Yeah, Tim's. Yeah, as Josh was saying, he's super hard to hit. He's super unorthodox. He's really elusive. He's got great scrambles, but none of that is going to matter in this fight to me.
Mhm.
He's just going to get. It's going to be what these Russian guys do that can wrestle. All of them can wrestle anyway, but what they do is they grab a scrambler and they hold them down and they make it boring. And that's all it's going to be. This is going to be a shit fight in my head. It's going to be super boring. Because Tagir is got one of the most unimpressive 13-1 records I've ever seen.
It's very, very unimpressive. I agree.
His last fight, I don't get how they scored it because he held the guy down and did nothing.
Nascimento, by the way, who had been off for multiple years.
How good he was attacking off his back, multiple submission attempts, and apparently he lost ground control time. I don't understand how that scoring works. I know one judge scored it for Allen, which is correct. He should have won the fight in my head. Yeah. So that to me is going, well, Tim Elliott could definitely do that. He could fight off his back. He could, but that's not how they score. And that's what worries me. And Tim could definitely do something, but I just think he's done. I think his body is done. His mind done. Losing to Matthias Nicolau is like, okay, up and comer, but it wasn't impressive. So to me, it's just going to be a Tagir ball fest. I hope it's not. I really do hope it's not. But Tagir is. I wouldn't be surprised if he loses, but I think it's just going to be a unanimous decision, boring, hold down fight.
Jeez, Lewis is salty this evening. I love it. I love it.
Not on the next fight. I'm not, but on this.
Yeah, no. I usually I'm the one who's shitting on the fights. This is kind of fun. This is kind of Bunny, go ahead.
I do. I feel the same way. And also 17-12 is kind of a hard one to rely on. But judges have obviously favored Tagir with this fucking impressive record on paper.
He's a split decision machine.
They're going to just scramble to the end, and the judges are going to give it to him because it pads stats. It makes him a better prospect. So I'm going Tagir as well. And by, as Lewis said, boring decision.
Boring ass decision.
Not my word, but boring decision.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree. Josh, do you wanna take your boy Elliott? I know you're a Glory guy. He's over at Glory. Tell me a little bit about your thoughts on the unfinishable finished.
Well, he's never been. I looked too, and he hasn't been knocked out. So that's
there we go. That's going to continue. I can guarantee that Tagir does not knock him out.
Yeah,
I'll dye my hair blonde next week if that happens.
Okay. But Askarov did knock him down 5 times.
I'll dye Tagir blonde.
What if Elliott knocks him out? No.
If there's a knockout in this fight, I'll dye my hair whatever color you want, Josh.
Stop with the dyeing hairs. I gotta.
I'm stealing your words, bro.
We're gonna make like a crazy bet.
We'll figure it out, but there will not be a KO in this fight.
Make a crazy bet on Elliott and Tagir.
Hey, at least I want to watch it then. Minus 225 for Tagir. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, Tim's like the most active fighter, I think, out of Glory MMA. He's always in the gym. He's always just like in there grinding. He's always like looking at himself, punching in the mirror. He's a grinder, dude.
That's a good argument. He's always looking at himself, punching in the mirror.
Like after the gym, he's always flowing. He's always moving.
I know. I've seen Tim Elliott. I know the shtick.
There's just one problem though, is like when you've got 12 losses on your record, you're super beatable, and there's a lot of blueprints to actually beat. Like you can beat him so many ways.
Yeah. I agree. We've spent plenty on talking about Tagir. If he's wrong, don't bet him at minus 225 though. Honestly,
Josh, should your official pick Elliott?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know enough about Tagir, honestly.
All right, so we got Elliott. We got two for Elliott, or 2 for Tagir, 1 for Elliott, and good luck, Josh. I'll be keeping track of all these for you. Don't worry. No, I'm just kidding. I don't. Yeah, we got this. But I'm gonna move on to the next fight, and I'm actually gonna have to step away to drop off Turks real quick because his mom is here. But Lewis, I think you know a little bit about this fight. You have a video over on your channel. Do you want to kind of tee up this fight for everybody and lead into the analysis, please?
Oh,
I'd love for her.
Thank you, sir.
Do you want to click it so you can see stats or at least one guy?
Yeah, who you want it on?
Oh, whoever you want.
Okay, so we're going to start on Kelleher. I'll literally be
I've been watching Brian Kelleher fights for 3 weeks.
that should be a t-shirt. I've been watching Brian, by the way, 2-4 in Kelleher picks. Yikes.
I love that.
But yeah, go ahead and I'll be right back. But Lewis, take it off.
See you, sir.
All right, See you, Turks. Yeah. Well, Brian Kelleher to me in this fight doesn't have much of a chance, and that's as nice as I adore Brian Kelleher. He's one of my all-time favorites.
Doesn't sound
Well, have you seen Umar? That's the issue. They're teeing him up here. He asked for what proper fighter pay, and I think they're doing him dirty here by setting him up with Umar, because the only attack he's got a great overhand right, but hasn't one single punched anyone since Hunter Azure, and that was not like one single punch. That was an accumulative blow. Umar is a very technical distance fighter. He's got great Muay Thai when he used to fight amateurly. Obviously, the wrestling's there, but he kind of fights the wrestling much like Zabit does. It's more of a hybrid style. It's not specifically for takedowns or a grind or whatever. He uses it in trip scenarios once he implements his leg kicking game, much like a Ryan Hall. He does Taekwondo spinning kicks, high kicks, Muay Thai low calf kicks without the fear of being taken down because he's got such great wrestling, great submission game. Brian Kelleher has great neck attacks, and that's the only way I see he can do this. Unless he just catches him, which I hate saying that as ever an opinion in any comparison or fight analysis, because anyone can catch anyone. I could catch him. Doesn't mean I'm going to win him.
Yeah.
Brian Kelleher. Yeah, could. What 0.1% chance? Yeah. But Brian Kelleher could definitely sneak a neck attack in. The striker go-to submission is a guillotine, because it's right there every time. People are always trying to take you down. You learn to get a good guillotine. It ain't going to work on Umar to me. I think Umar's going to absolutely ragdoll him. I think he's going to choke him out very quickly. Nah, okay. You bet on it then and show me your split.
Right.
But yeah, that's...
I'm just rolling with Brian, but I get your points.
I really love Brian Kelleher, and I think they're doing him dirty here because he's been great.
Yeah.
I feel really bad for him.
It was so much fun to watch. That's why it's like painful to. But see, I don't bet, so I get to choose Brian because I don't lose any money either way.
Well, I'm not betting on this fight because you won't earn any money unless you bet a specific submission maybe with Umar.
Minus 700.
Oh my god!
Sorry, what?
That's insane.
I saw that on Steve's video today. He said he's minus 700.
Minus 700. Well, there is definitely a way. He's got Nurmagomedov at the end of his name. And
that shouldn't fucking count.
Oh, it should. Have you seen their family?
Hello. Sorry. What's going on? What's going on?
Is Umar a minus 700 favorite right now? You got to be fucking joking.
Umar Nurmagomedov is not a minus 1,000 favorite yet.
I said minus 700.
670.
He's minus 800.
800.
Minus 800 again. Brian Kelleher right now you can get for plus 500. I did put a bet down on Brian Kelleher today for plus 500.
And that does. You're the only one I trust around here.
Let me explain a little bit. Sometimes
I think me and Josh are on the same page.
Let me explain. That does not make my official pick Brian Kelleher. Sometimes in betting, you just have to make a business decision. And sometimes you got to be willing to sacrifice a unit for a plus 500. The implied odds on that is that Brian Kelleher loses this fight 98% of the time. I don't believe that is the case.
I think more.
No, 99? Okay. Well, here, let me just
make more than that, mate. I think more than that as well.
So, how do you see it? So, how did you pick the fight?
Cute,
list?
Norton. You're so cute with your little comments on Brian.
I mean, yeah, Brian had a good fight with Kevin Kroom. Kevin took the fight on two days.
Kevin Kroom and Umar Nurmagomedov are basically the same fighter.
Basically the same, but
like same level.
He'll be cornering Elliott, Kevin Kroom will, but Brian Kelleher I like the young guys in the sport. I really am ready for the takeover of 26 and under, like Saryuki, and last week we saw it. I'm ready, and Makhachev's Makhachev's like 31, isn't he?
Yeah, he's 30, I think, yeah.
Yeah, but these young guys coming up in the sport, these are the guys that I enjoy watching, like the 26-year-olds, the 25-year-olds, Jillian Robertson, 26. So I'm ready for the takeover. I'm ready for Umar to really make a statement in this fight, and I think he does it too.
Okay,
I'm not ready to let go of the old guys. I want to hang because they're the ones that got me into this sport. I'm not ready to let go of them yet.
Yeah, and I agree.
Well, Brian, I think the thing with this fight is that my official pick would be Umar Nurmagomedov, and it would be by submission. Like honestly, but there are holes to exploit potentially in a young younger Umar's game that eventually aren't going to be exploitable. And I saw some of those with Miraz. Miraz was not able to close the distance on some of those counters, on some of those high kicks. Umar's coming off of knee surgery also. I'm sure he's fine, but, I mean, this is being taken at 145. Kelleher is the one of the two of these with more experience at that division. So those are just my arguments here and why I'm willing to gamble on a plus 500 here. That's my
Brian can exploit those holes though.
I think Brian
better than Brian is gonna.
Is there a scenario where I see Brian being able to maybe counter one of those leg kicks and be able to catch him with a hook coming in? Yes. I do see a scenario where that could happen. It does. Will it happen? Most likely no, but I do see that scenario. Yes, I do, honestly. But I don't think it's likely. My pick is Umar, but I don't think Umar comes in here and if Umar comes in here and completely embarrasses Brian Kelleher, it would be the first time I've seen that out of Kelleher that I can remember. So it would be very impressive. That's all I got. But Umar most likely takes this fight. I don't know if he's a minus 800 coming off of knee surgery.
That's crazy, man. Come on.
Makes sense.
Brian's
an awesome dude.
Yeah, and I do like Brian. I do like Umar, but it's very cool to see a Khabib that can kick also. That just sounds like a cheat code almost. It's like he's Khabib, but he can kick, and that does look what he is so far. But
so I think more Zabit.
Talking about Umar like it's a fucking I understand that Umar is most likely to win, but you guys are completely disregarding Brian Kelleher's abilities, and it is
I just spent
questionable that you guys have zero faith in this motherfucker. You guys see him, you're like, fuck him. And catch him, dude. I'm just saying that's not likely, but you guys are talking like it's a fucking log.
See, that's the issue. If your whole argument is he could catch him, that's not an argument because anyone can catch anyone.
I made more of a specific argument based on what I saw in the Miraz fight.
I made a better defense than you just did for your own boy with neck
Me?
Fuck you, Lewis.
No, not you, Aaron.
Edward sort of,
That's fine. My pick is Umar, but if Brian wins, I'm going to be cashing the ticket. So
maybe splash a unit. That's not a bad decision.
I mean, honestly, I've wasted $100 in way worse ways than on a plus 500 underdog who has more experience, who's not coming off of major knee surgery.
Yes.
But
so I have nothing to lose by going with Brian.
Yeah, and it's I would never bet any amount of money I wasn't willing to lose. So here we go. Next fight here is actually a semi-decent fight. I'm not going to call it a steak fight, even though I'm not the biggest fan of Marina Miraz, the Iron Lady. I really like Maria Agapova. I'm not going to lie. I think she's really exciting. I think it kind of sucks how everybody just hopped off after the Shayna Dobson disaster, where she was the biggest underdog ever to cash in Shayna Dobson. Hopefully Brian can start to rival that. And by the way, I'm just going to take Bunny off screen real quick. She'll be right back, but we'll bring her back on when she returns. But yeah, it's I think this is kind of a sneaky good fight for a low level, fight in the flyweight division here. Honestly, I think it's going to be pretty exciting. We got the Kazakhstan representative, still only 24 years old, and the Demon Slayer, Maria Agapova. She's very, very, powerful striker, really explosive. A little questions on the gas tank, but she was able to get a third round finish in her last fight. And, she's got decent grappling. She's been in there with, I think, a good level of competition for so early in her career. I really think she's going to have a big power advantage here over Miraz. Miraz just kind of throws a lot of strikes but misses with a lot of them, and it ends up fooling judges, which is one of my concerns, is that volume and the constant barrage from Miraz, even if she's not effective, could be effective to the judges with forward pressure. But yeah, I think Agapova has the ability to finish this fight. And I think that she ends up taking Miraz down. And I'll say, fuck it, ground and pound finish for Maria Agapova in this fight. She makes a statement. And I think that Miraz is going to be fighting with a very heavy heart right now with everything going on. She is Ukrainian. That could benefit or hurt. I'm not going to speculate on any of that. But
Ukraine money
you know, yeah, it's I definitely like Agapova. I think that she gained a lot of experience from that Dobson fight. Learned a lot about how to kind of pace herself and not just dump it into the first 3 minutes, assuming she's set up at ATT Sunrise now. She's been training with Jillian at times and some other pretty good fighters. And Miraz has got an OnlyFans that's really awkward that she seems to always be promoting and never yeah. So I'm gonna go with the non-OnlyFans Agapova.
Yeah, I mean, based off of your assessment, I like that. I like Maria Agapova. No, I mean, they both have that win over Mazo. Mazo wasn't really impressive in any of her UFC fights, really, and she was supposed to be pretty hyped up. But Ukraine, that's another outside kind of factor. Ukraine, it's going to be a topic maybe I don't know how much of a topic it'll be on the broadcast. They'll talk about Ukraine money line.
I think they'll talk about it a lot.
Think so?
I think they'll talk about that more than anything else about Miraz.
Yeah, and that could be. We'll see. Do you know who's commentating?
It's going to be probably Michael Bisping, Brandon Fitzgerald.
No.
Oh wait, it's a pay-per-view, so it's a pay-per-view crew. Yeah,
DC Yannick and
Rogan. And Rogan's definitely going to talk about Ukraine. He's probably going to have some asshole on from Russia this week on his podcast.
I like Agapova, but as far as World War III, I'm going to go Ukraine money line.
Okay, Ukraine money line, but Agapova for the fight. So Kazakhstan here. Also, one other thing is that Morozov has been kind of, or a little bit inactive over the last few years, also, which I think is a concern.
Yeah, it's grappling v boxing to me. If Moraz can get it to the floor, I think she's gonna spread. Just run through her. I think it's a tight fight, though. I don't see it finishing. If it does finish, I think Moraz is going to finish it. I think it will be it will be a clinic submission. But Agapova is a very good boxer, very good teacher as well. It's a real tough one to call this because both haven't lit the world up since they've come in. But Moraz has fought better people to me. The Angela Hill fight, I was surprised. I thought she was going to do that, but she kind of got outpowered by an Angela Hill, so it kind of showed me the level she's actually at. And as you say, the Mazo fight, Mazo's not looked impressive since coming in, but I'm going to go with Moraz in this just by decision. It's a real tough one. There's no real argument for who's going to win for me. It's a very good matchup to me.
Is that Andre Feely right there?
What's that?
What on the right?
Is that Andre Feely right there?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Andre Feely with a wig. So besides the Umar Nurmagomedov fight, we are yet to all agree on a fight. And this fight, again, the odds are pretty bizarre. They're anywhere from -225 to -175 for Maria Agapova in this spot. So a lot of people seem to really be writing off Miraz, who Scott Brown is pointing out at 115 was definitely drained. This is at 125, which is a good point from Scott. So definitely give him credit there. I think this fight's way closer than it's tagged. I can't get behind Maria at that price, but I'm still going to go with her for my pick.
But Josh has a good point there about Ukraine, though, because if Ukraine is on her mind, it's either going to be a massive positive or an absolute destruction.
That's exactly what I said. I cannot. I honestly, if I had to play armchair psychologist, which I'm not, but I would say it wouldn't help. I would say it would only detract with regards to preparation, because it's she's thinking about family members and this isn't like a movie where you're just I'm gonna put that in my heart. That detracts from your mental game. That detracts from your focus, and maybe you can use it for fuel. But again, either way,
we'll see.
We'll see, man. It's interesting. I hope they don't mention it on the broadcast, though. I'd hate that.
I don't.
They will. I don't
know. I got a BKFC fighter trying to fight because I have beef with their girlfriend. I need advice. What do I do? Don't
fight him and film it.
Don't pick on fighters' girlfriends. I don't know.
You interviewed Julian Lane. Hit him up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, have Julian Lane isn't exactly the best, most reliable protection based on his record, but either way, Yeah, we'll move on to the next fight. I don't know, glove touch. Double down on the shit talk. That's what I always do.
Khabib said to Kyle from now, get a dog.
Yeah, exactly. Get a dog. Yeah, always get a dog. But next fight here at 205, a really interesting fight again. These prelims are strange. Nick Negramanu, Romania, the Romanian Nick taking on Kennedy in Juku. Not bad. Not bad. Yeah, I got one. Finally, I got one. But we got Romania versus Nigeria here. 11-1 Nick out of the Romanian side. It's only 27 and a half years old, which is kind of crazy to me. It looks a little bit older at times. But taking on the older 29-year-old Kennedy Njoku, the African Savage, who I thought was younger. But 6'5", 83-inch reach, 5-inch reach advantage for Kennedy. Kennedy is he's hard to figure out, honestly. He still just seems so green to me, and like the coaching that he gets is sometimes like very, very rudimentary. Against Daun Young, he was just kind of overwhelmed with regards to kind of the mental and tactical game. He was mirroring Daun Young, and then Daun Young just put him away with an elbow, like standing up completely.
Is it
just
the Saif Saud cornering for you? Do you want this?
Yeah, exactly. Good old Saif Saud, one of my favorite coaches. Do you want this? How bad do you want this? Wake up, legs. What we worked on, Kennedy. That's the Saif Saud. Basically, he needs to thank his lucky stars that Carlos Ulberg and Darko Stosiak have the gas tank of a Hummer, because both those guys were kind of beating him up until they fell asleep.
I like that.
And then Kennedy was just like beating up corpses in front of him. And I think with Darko, did Darko get like 3 or 4 nut shots in that fight also I think he lost like 2 or 3 points.
2 points, yeah.
And Kennedy eked out a decision there. It's ugly, man. The Paul Craig fight, he stuffs all of Paul Craig's takedowns, yet still gets submitted at the end. It's just, he's really, really a headache to try to figure out, and I can't really rely on him that much. One thing I can say is that he has good takedown defense in most of his fights, and I think I'm missing a syllable in there, but Nick.
Just call him Nick, man.
Yeah, I think Nick. Shut up, Lewis. What the fuck?
The broadcast is gonna have to be careful with that one. They're gonna They may just go with Romanian Nick or something. But Nick is gonna have to be in Kennedy's face a lot in this fight, make it dirty, a lot of volume, crash on some takedowns, and hope that's successful. And I could see it, happening. But when you look at the level of competition Nick has faced throughout his career before the UFC, it's just disturbing. He's facing guys that he can like do like rodeo yeehaws from on top of when he's like just like mounting them like and shit. It's like he's doing all sorts. If you watch Nick tape, it's really bizarre before the UFC. Then he lost to Safarov to start out his UFC career. So anybody who loses Safarov, I'm just a little bit worried about. Period. Safarov, man.
I mean, he lost 2 fights and then failed a drug test. And they're like, whoa. Like you're terrible. And Kennedy just sometimes like can really like leave himself open, but he can also just like swing those tree trunks and connect. I don't have a side I feel good about in this fight. I'll be honest. I'm gonna go with my boy Romanian Nick, and maybe I learn how to say his last name after this fight. But I think he makes it dirty. I think he just mixes it up and ekes out a 29-28, and the crowd's upset.
Yeah, I like what you said. Kennedy Njoku was huge. I think he's got an underrated gas tank, and he's a really good striker too. And like you said, Aaron, he's pretty green in there. So who knows how much he's improved from that first round knockout. Daun Jung, I think that was the fight when Daun Jung had like just staph infection like right on his chest.
Right.
That was probably pretty distracting for Kennedy. He's like, I don't really want to fight this guy right now.
I don't want to touch you.
I'm going to get out of here. So,
yeah.
But I like Kennedy's Njoku striking. I like his gas tank. I like just about everything about him. Nick, he knocked out Ike Villanueva. I feel like that's a good sign. That's what you got to do against Ike Villanueva because he's not really ascending at this division at least. So did what you had to do. You like to see it on paper, but we'll see. We'll see if he can get it done against Kennedy because young, green, gas tank. I like Kennedy.
I just think sometimes Kennedy has a pattern or a habit to not use that 83-inch reach and start to kind of use that high guard and allow his opponents to crash in the distance and kind of beat him up, like,
which is exactly what Paul Craig did. Yeah,
and I think Nick can do that. That's kind of Nick's game.
But the only issue I have with Nick is, again, it's a padded ass record, and I hate these things because you don't know what's going on. Like, to win the Contender Series, or to get in through the Contender Series in 2018 was actually quite difficult to do. They're not handing out contracts every single time you just win now. Paul Craig is your first fight in the UFC, and you went to the third round with Paul Craig. Paul Craig is legit.
Yeah.
He's won. Carlos Ulberg, say what you want about his gas tank. Carlos Ulberg is a very good striker, very high-level striker, and he hung in there fine and actually finished him. I don't know. He's got really great power. He does when he does hit you with the end of the shot, which is where all the power lies.
Right.
I think Nick's going to get exposed here with his I like Kennedy. I kind of agree with Josh. He looks better every time you see him, other than the Down fight.
Other than his last fight.
Yeah, other than his last fight. But Nick's not looked good at all to me. Even his wins, I'm there like.
But don't you think Nick has like a game ability in his game to make Kennedy think, which is really, I think, how you beat Kennedy is by starting to overload him mentally, like making him think about a lot of that. Don't you think Nick can do that?
To be honest, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know enough about both guys to have that kind of in-depth breakdown for him.
No, I know. Obviously, you know,
a tricky bit. It is tricky with the matchmaking. I think the matchmaking here is spot on.
And I think the odds make sense too. And by the way, just real quick, public service announcement. Bunny is dealing with a fire at her house right now. In her kitchen. Apparently one of her roommates set up. It's a small kitchen fire, but yeah, she might be back, might not. But either way, just wanted to update that for but yeah, hopefully everything's good, Bunny.
We need baking soda.
Exactly. Do not pour water on it. But Nick Negromano is the underdog right now. Money has been coming in on my boy Nick. Plus 115. You can get Kennedy right now at minus 130. I wish I was on the Kennedy side. I'd bet that on. Honestly.
It's not a confident pick, by the way.
That's fair. That's fair. And that's fair. But mine is not a confident pick, but it's the pick I'm making for this fight. Should be an interesting one. We'll move on to the next one here. I was surprised when I found out Kennedy was older than Nick, though. I was just like, Kennedy fights like he's 22, but he's 29.
Can I also have a pre-apology, because I've done breakdowns on my channel of a lot of these fights.
Yeah.
So I've researched a lot into these. If I rant on, just stop me.
No, if I were to judge anybody for ranting, half the time I take all the scraps and I'm like, so what's your thoughts on the fight? It's like, you just said everything about trust me, rants are encouraged here. And now we're down to 3. We really got all the time here. This next fight, very good fight. Didn't mean to hit the promotion for the UFC button, but 115-pound title eliminator. Is it? I think it's pretty close to one, at least for one side. And my girl, one of my favorite fighters, probably my favorite fighter, I'll say strawweight division, Marina Rodriguez. I'm obsessed with her. I've been obsessed with her since her debut. I thought her striking in her debut looked like nothing I had kind of seen in this division yet. Just that really pure Muay Thai, and the power of it at this division, you just don't see a lot of, other than maybe a Rose or the top of the top. So exactly. But I think Marina has that type of power. Definitely proved in that Rebus double KO finish, which was still, I think, one of the best. Thank you, Herb Dean, coach or ref of the year, for doing that. Taking on Yao Jianan, which I did my best with, and out of China, 13-2 for the nickname the 9 fighter. I'm not sure if she gets to win here, if she's getting the title shot. But she might, just out of the fact that they don't have really a choice. Odd team alpha male, 13-2, 32 years old for the Chinese representative here. Lost to Carla Esparza in her last fight. Got kind of completely exposed in that one. And, you know, obviously in a way that Marina's not going to be able or won't be able to or won't expose her. She got crucifixed and put away by Carla. It was like Carla's dream performance. It really was. Yeah. It was kind of amazing. And I don't have a problem with Carla, so that's fine. And then the wins for Yao Jinan, she's just picking the right times to face fighters like Karolina Kowalkiewicz or Claudia Gadelha, literally at the end of their careers. Suri Kondo, not great. Vivian Pereira, decent win. Kaylin Curran, horrific. Angela Hill, okay, everybody goes to decision with her. Congratulations. So she's had a up and down kind of. She's done well, obviously 6-1. She's or 5-1, not even up and down. You know, I think she's got some of the best striking in this division. So there could be, you know, a round where she's able to outstrike her. I just don't see it. I think Marina is such a better, longer, stronger striker, and they're a similar age. Marina's a little bit older. She's getting turning 35, I think, next week. So that's a little concern, I guess. But I mean, this is going to be on the feet. I think it's going to be a competitive fight, but I don't think you're going to really learn about if Marina or Yao Jinan has improved the aspect of their game they need to become a champion, which is their wrestling, their grappling, and their defense in that realm. So I just think in a stand-up fight, I'm taking the better stand-up fighter and the better overall fighter in Marina Rodriguez. I'm a huge fan. I don't pick against Marina Rodriguez. I'm not picking against her here. But I think it's going to be I think it could be closer than a lot of people think because they're both just going to be in their strength of stand-up and not having to worry about the takedowns, which is their weakness.
Yeah, go for it. I'd rather hear your thoughts about this fight since you made that video.
Well, to me, okay, well, Thai boxer, so I'm immediately drawn to it. Marina is literally the perfect essence of Thai boxing in mixed martial arts. Since Khalil Roundtree came back from Thailand, this is the next best thing for me. So I personally think she's fought better people. Now, Claudia Gadelha is a great name to have for Yan, but not at this stage in her career. Karolina Kowalkiewicz is terrible now. She is awful. She's completely lost. It's all mental for her. She looks physically great when she comes in. But mentally, she's not there. So those sort of fights completely not out the window with Yan, but they're showcasing her talents more than anything. This is a great matchup for her. This is striker's delight.
Yeah,
it's not hitting the mat. They both the only opponent they faced that's the same as Carla Esparza. One got completely dominated, and one it was really
Marina
close.
won that. That's another fight where the Marina was doing all the damage from the bottom, opened up Carla.
So that's the thing. How do you decide control time?
You have to dominate the ground. You have to dominate the bottom to such a level that a layman can understand. So it's almost impossible. It's almost impossible.
But the turning point for me is as a complete mixed martial artist is the Mackenzie Dern fight. Because Mackenzie Dern is the Damien Maya for female jiu-jitsu practitioners. She really is. She
got her down. Yeah. She got her down. So she did survive the most dangerous place possible. It wasn't like Dern never got the takedowns in this.
Exactly.
Dern got her down.
Which is better. That's better for Marina. The fact that she got taken down straight back up and then, got the decision. When the gas, they've both got great gas tanks. The difference here is Marina's clinch game, elite. Elbows from the clinch, the break.
Yeah, I agree.
That's where it's going to be. Yan's kind of break away from a clinch. She doesn't know how to scrape an underhook. If you watch her fight, she never peels. Instead, she puts her head right into your chest and she just throws hooks over the top until you let go. And that's her style. It's a barrage. I don't think Marina's going to give her that space. She's never faced someone that can hold a plum clinch like her and doesn't just hold the plum clinch. She will then drive you into a cage. She will absolutely destroy you with the knees. And that's how I actually think Marina can finish Yan. I think Yan's striking might get exposed a little bit with just how moderate it is. It's very good, but only against the opposition she faced. As soon as she faces someone like Marina, who is a technical striker that has fought in another organization outside of here in a different combat sport, I think Marina will expose her, especially with the long limbs she's got as well. Great teeps.
Yeah.
She's gonna keep
I honestly I would be very curious to see what the Marina inside the distance price is because I think that Probably gets you into plus money, judging by right now. Marina straight up, it's hard to take her. She's plus 255 and it's rising.
The reason I say finish as well is Yang gets hit a lot. Kaylee Curran was hitting her.
Right.
Like, a lot. I know it's a while ago now, that fight. But
right. Yeah. I'm pretty sure Kaylin Curran was a favorite in that fight, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
Her offense is improved, but her defense still, there's holes everywhere. And Marina will fight. Just like the Rebus fight, Rebus had the tightest guard in the world, and like a Bobby Green shot on Nasrat, just sneaks its way through right into the nose, shattered her nose, eyes watered, she couldn't see, and then she got clipped again. And then Herb Dean saved the day by letting her carry on.
Yeah, so. Ref of the year, Herb Dean. Yeah, I honestly, you really convinced me to look into the Marina inside the distance bet. I like it quite based on the price.
I would definitely put Marina in a parlay though. Like
100%. At minus 250, you'd still put her in a parlay.
Yeah, minus 280 or.
Yeah, I have it at minus 250 on my site, but I see it up to minus 280 on others. Josh, what are your thoughts on this fight?
Yeah, the last 3 fights for Marina Rodriguez, they're all 3 really good names. I have a lot of respect for Rebus Watterson and then Mackenzie Dern as well. Very up and coming name, especially.
And here's real quick, and now I'll get.
You're good.
Here's the weird part. She's been in the main event for the last 2 performances. Now she's on the prelims.
That's weird.
So Greg Hardy can be on the main card.
She's the feature.
So that
right? She's not the feature.
Yeah, fuck off. But you're putting Greg Hardy on a fucking pay-per-view.
Yeah, that sucks.
Greg Hardy should be fighting before the first fight, in a dark match. It should just not be shown on anything. Greg Hardy does not deserve that position. Marina Rodriguez has been in the main event her last 2. So, I didn't even think, I just don't understand how you go to the prelims. But, yeah, Josh.
This is a prelim main event?
Make it 5 rounds. Make the prelim main events 5 rounds.
Is this the prelim main event?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's a feature prelim. Yep.
Yeah, I like the 3, and even the one before the 3 fight win streak with Esparza. Still impressive. I think she's on her way to the title shot for sure. And then Yao Zhaonan, it's at this level, not a lot of people lose 2 in a row, especially it's just because that sucks. You don't want to be on that 2-fight losing streak, lose 2 in a row in the UFC. So I think she is going to come out and really bring a fight towards Marina. And then we may see some adversity for Marina, but at the end of the day, I think we don't see her falter on her title journey. Essentially, she's going to continue to rattle off these wins until she sees herself in that title picture or even a title shot. So
and then they're not even the featured prelim because Jalen Turner and Jamie Malarkey are.
I love that.
I mean, these last 2 on the prelims are incredible, but we're all on Marina here. This is our first unanimous agreement since Umar. So our 2 unanimous are Umar and Marina. So Marina Nurmagomedov, good for you.
Consensus earthquake.
But so far update on the fire, Bunny is still alive, so we'll keep that in mind as we get to the next fight here, which is our featured prelim, the prelim main event, whatever you want to call it. It's a banger, and I'm really excited about this one. And this is, I think, is the fight I've gone back and forth on maybe the most on the card. Jalen Turner taking on Jamie a bunch of Malarkey. In this one, this is a very, very good fight. It's funny when I first saw Jamie Malarkey's debut, I was like, man, this guy sucks. I was like, he looks like he can't fight, and then he kind of appeared from his fighting like he couldn't fight. You remember his debut? It was just about as bad as a debut could go.
What, against Riddell? Was that Riddell?
Was it the second fight? Either way, I'm saying his pro debut, his first 2 fights as a pro, or about as bad as they could go. He got knocked out his first 2 fights ever. Yeah, his pro
I in the UFC. Sorry, man.
Yeah. No. It's 2 first fights as a pro. Which I don't usually go all the way back through the record, but he had a little bit of a tough time there. And got the elbow, and they actually they were towards the middle of his career. I thought they were his debut, but Volkanovski, and then 5 and 6 fighter elbowed him named Luke Katubig, and then he ended up going back on that run, making his debut against Riddell. Just looked a little like a step too slow in that one. Honestly, to Riddell, there's no real shame there in Riddell. also. And then, Bunny's saying still supporting Jalen all the way. Okay, he's the homie. Cool. But yeah, the 2 decision losses to start out, Ferguson and Riddell. He's gone on to show the power against Kama Worthy and Devontae Smith, 2 guys who I'm not sure how good their chin is, and I'm not sure how good Devontae Smith is. I know how good Kama Worthy is. So I just think we're going to learn a lot about both fighters in this fight. Jalen Turner is an absolute monster for this division. Has such a huge reach advantage in this spot. Yep, the tarantula, I think. Yeah. But Jalen Turner, he is 11-5. He's made a lot of his mistakes early on. He's been in Bellator as well as, before the UFC. Still only 26 years old. He's got a reach of about 78 inches, I believe. So he's got a decent reach advantage. Really looked composed and used the grappling well against Eurosmetic in that last fight. Eurosmetic was coming into that fight extremely hyped up and, had a perfect debut himself, but we're not really sure how good Eurosmetic is yet. Brock Weaver, you're doing what you're supposed to do against him. The Matt Frivola fight is a little bit of a concern because Frivola was able to use his grappling and wrestling to kind of keep Turner at bay. And, I do think that, Malarkey could, implement some grappling in this fight. They're both on the feet. They're both really impressive. And Turner has the better chance of a submission finish, yet I feel like Malarkey still could be the one to implement the wrestling if one of these are. I just don't have a clear image on how I see this fight going, to be honest.
Do you think Malarkey has a better positional base? Like if it hits the deck, he just holds positions better.
Yeah, and I think power wise, he's got the power edge to Jalen on the feet. So those are the things that are making me tempted to go with Malarkey. But there's just something about Jalen Turner's kind of fighting pace that I've been seeing over these last few that I've really liked, and I think he's going to be able to avoid kind of the powerful shots of Malarkey and frustrate him a little bit on the feet. I think this is going to go all 15 minutes, actually. And I think it's going to be pretty close. I'm going to make a pick, but I don't have a super strong lean. I'm going with Jalen Turner. I think he's going to edge this one out. I do think that the distance this is fought at, the bigger octagon with it being a pay-per-view is going to be a huge benefit for Turner. If this was at the Apex, I might be liking Malarkey to get that game a little bit more. I think this is one of these. There's not a lot of fights, I think, that really change based on the octagon it's in. I think this might be one of them, though. So I got Turner by decision. I think this is a really close fight. I totally get people who are backing Malarkey here. He's looked really good. And, there are some similarities to his last 2 opponents with regards to Turner, but I think Turner's so much more dynamic. And at 26, I think he's improving by the fight here and really figuring out who he is as a fighter. So I like Turner in the spot, and I like him to win a decision.
I'm surprised that the line is so close in this fight because
really?
Think you said Uros Medic, like we don't know how good he is. I think he's very good. I think he's going to come in and be like a potential star. I love his attitude. I love his personality, this Uros Medic. And I was just so impressed with Jalen Turner in that last fight that he was able to put a guy like that out in the first round. It made me just really love Jalen Turner. And Jamie Malarkey has that knockout power. And if he's able to land a shot, he could potentially finish Jalen Turner. But I think like after that Uros Medic fight, it's going to be very hard for me to ever pick against Jalen Turner unless it's just one of those bigger names. Malarkey is not the name that does it for me. So I think we see another really big performance out of Jalen Turner. And that line, I like it a lot too. I would almost put a unit or something on.
Yeah, you can bet that straight up at minus 155. I agree 100%.
Yeah, I like Jalen Turner a lot in this fight. I really
What about you, Lewis? What's your thoughts?
I think you nailed it with the word dynamic. He just comes out so much more creative, a little less box standard. Jamie's kind of got the fundamentals down, but doesn't do anything like that can kind of turn the page. If he gets stuck in a rut, it's like, okay, stick to the game plan, jab and move. Land that power left. I really rate Uros as well. I'm completely with you there. I just think Jalen's got it. He's figured it out. In the last couple of fights, he's like, okay, I've finally figured it out. I've got the weight down. I've got the style down. I've got the reach. I'm a big dude for this division. I know how to use the reach, more importantly. And he's slick on the ground. He really is. Yeah, I think we got a three-way Jalen on this one.
Yeah, I agree. Right away from the prelims, a few spots I like. I like the double up with the Marina Jalen Turner, just money line as a parlay, gets you to even money right there. I wouldn't mind making that right away. Or if you're not as sure, with Turner, Marina, Jacoby, and Nurmagomedov, you can go ahead and put those three together and get the even money also. So I think those are two routes.
I will just say as well about Malarkey is that he is a dog, like in a fight.
Yeah.
Like he is a proper fighter, not necessarily like an athlete in any way. Whereas Jalen is more, if it doesn't go his way, will he just fold over? And that's what I'm worried about. Like in those second and third rounds, if you keep hitting him and he's still there, he showed it in the Riddell fight. He will get up with a bloody nose and just keep walking you down. So that's the only thing I'm worried about. It's a good if Jalen wins this, man, he's ready for a next step up, big time.
Yeah, no.
That's discouraging Jalen if he hits him over and over again, and then Malarkey's still there. It's discouraging, but that's why I see like he's gonna put the lights out on Malarkey, so that can't happen. But we'll see.
Yeah, it's good. I think this is a real potential fight of the night there. And as much as I love Marina, I can understand their decision to want to feature this because I think it's going to get a lot of people excited leading into the main card, which unfortunately
someone asked me to do a breakdown on this, by the way, on this fight, and I told them this.
Yeah, seriously,
I'm not putting this on my fucking channel.
No, yeah, exactly. This will be
nothing against Spivak.
Yeah, this is not a fight that I'm crazy about being on a card, let alone the main card of a pay-per-view. Sergey Spivak taking on Greg Hardy. In this one, heavyweights, Greg Hardy coming off of that fight with what was it, Taito Ivasa in his last fight, where he didn't get hurt. Yeah, he didn't get hurt. He just got knocked unconscious. But I mean, I guess it doesn't hurt. I wouldn't know. Before that, got ground and pounded out by Marcin Tabor. I mean, is there really a huge difference between Marcin Tabor and Sergey Spivak? I mean, it's kind of like Marcin Tabor at home. Right? So I just, right? No, not quite. No. So Spivak has the power.
One of them got concrete for a head.
Yeah, Spivak has the power in the chin of a lightweight, maybe a featherweight, and he's fighting a heavyweight. This is the problem here because I just see striking wise, I'm not sure how Spivak gets Greg Hardy's respect really in this fight. Because I just don't think even if Greg Hardy leaves himself open, Spivak's going to hurt him. Spivak's going to have to wrestle him, going to have to out MMA him. And, I definitely think he can do that. I think that Greg Hardy has the cardio of a football player, and that means about 5 to 15 seconds before he starts to get real tired. And I just think that Spivak's going to keep grinding. He's not going to give him any space. I don't see Hardy being able to pull off Barnett elbows or something I don't get how everybody's on Hardy. I get that Spivak kind of sucks, but Spivak now training at Elite XC, which would be a decent camp to train at to a better camp. Spivak looks like he's in really great shape too. Really seems to be taking his training much more serious. He's still a pretty young heavyweight. I do think he can continue to improve, and in a division where Jake Collier is getting a 4-fight contract and getting ready for, another W over Tafa. We might be on a collision course soon for a Collier-Spivak co-main event, so watch out. Either way, I'm going to take Spivak in this spot, and I'm going to take him to get a decision. He's going to win for Team MMA. When I'm in a spot where I can pick Team MMA or Greg Hardy, I pick Team MMA. So I'm biased. I got Spivak here by decision, possibly getting a rear naked choke in at some point in the third round.
It's not going to decision, I don't think. No way. I think the power advantage definitely lies with Greg Hardy. He's going to start really fast and try to knock out Sergey Spivak. And I think he does it too. I think he's just really physically imposing as a heavyweight. Like when you're playing the NFL, you're a different kind of athlete, and not that will transfer or do anything in this fight specifically. But I see the power advantage. I see him landing that one shot against Sergey Spivak because I like, as using Lewis's verbiage, I don't rate Sergey Spivak. I don't rate him. So I'm going Greg Hardy, the principal, for sure.
So he pulls a Walt Harris and just knocks him out in the first round?
Yeah, I think he's just going to come out and he's not going to
Start
stop.
him.
He's not going to stop until he gets that knockout all 5 minutes of that first round. And then, again, if he doesn't get it, then that's where Spivak will likely take him down, and then Greg Hardy will quit, essentially. So, yeah. I don't see it.
So, yeah, it's potential live bet opportunity maybe, especially when you see Spivak is a minus 210. Who on earth is betting Spivak at minus 210? You're a psychotic individual. Might as well wait until he becomes plus money by almost getting killed in the first round.
I mean, Spivak is notably a very slow starter as well. You know, he got knocked out, as you say, by Walt Harris. Tom Aspinall, actually, Aspinall's another level, but you know, just smashed through him. Greg, by the way, it came out today. He weighs 295 pounds today.
Yeah, I saw that.
295 pounds. The dude is cutting.
Sorry, I'll be right back. I have to drop off one more dog, and then it's the end of daycare. Sorry.
Who is it? Which one?
We got Bogan dropped off, the Australian Shepherd.
You Bogan? Just stopping by.
Yes, correct. I'll be right back.
Yeah, I think Greg, I'm with you, dude. I think Greg's going to come out hard. I don't know what the reason Aaron thinks he doesn't have a good gas tank is because of the inhaler incident.
Yeah.
He went 25 minutes with Volkov when he had 6 fights on his record. He beat Jorgen De Castro by decision as well. Like, the guy can go the distance. He has a problem pacing himself because he gets very excited in the first round, as you would when you are an incredibly massive individual. He is huge. I remember when I spoke to Dan Hardy about it, he was saying that when he went to American Top Team and sat next to him, he thought the camera was wrong because he sat next to him and was like, am I sitting closer to the camera or something? Like further back? Because the guy is just towering. He's just abnormally ridiculous. Spivak is not. Spivak's a big dude. He's a heavyweight, but he's not a Greg Hardy sized guy. He's not cutting 40 pounds to make weight. I just think Greg Hardy is a piece of shit human, but he's got some fucking power, dude.
How is he going to cut that weight? Like, that's 30 pounds.
I don't know, put on a sweatsuit and go jog. I have no idea how you can healthily cut that amount of body weight. And
it seems like a knockout in coming for Greg Hardy. But
if he even makes weight, is he going to be is it him and Justin Taffer that are going to miss? But
probably, yeah, honestly.
Yeah.
All
Did you hear any of that, by the way, Aaron?
What'd you say?
Do you hear any of what we say? Or
no, because the fucking I have to, because with the blue thing, I have to have headphones plugged into the mic in order for it to like work correctly. So yeah, daycare is officially over. Sorry for anybody who's uneducated to this. I run a doggy daycare through my house, and pick up for work is 6 to 7. So I had to make that happen. But now everybody's picked up. No more delays. Minus 210 again on Spivak. Plus 180 on Greg Hardy. I mean,
crazy.
I'm also on Greg Hardy, by the way, Aaron.
Oh, okay. So I'm on a Spivak island.
I did counter your argument of he has a bad gas tank as well, because he went 25 minutes with Volkov and he beat Jorge De Castro by decision. The only reason people say that is because of the inhaler, and that's the
Jorge De Castro.
Yeah, I'm saying he went 15 minutes. He still managed to go the 15 minutes. He beat Maurice Green, who was the most irritating heavyweight to watch. And just because every step.
I will admit, I'm pretty shocked that the odds are that heavy on
You've got
Spivak.
a giant human being with kettlebells for hands running at you. And the other guy doesn't start for 4 minutes normally, 3 and 4.
It has a suspect chin.
And has a super weak chin. You're going night. Like, he caught Tai Tuivasa cleanly. Tai just has a good chin.
Yeah, right.
That's it.
Yeah, if he catches him with that, it's there's.
He's gone, man. He's gone.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, Visceral's my boy. Spivak Island, baby.
That's the way to do it. That's the way to do it. But
Spivak Island,
break down.
Collier Island, Porter Island. That's my islands right there. Very, very average heavyweights. That's my jam.
Are you just going to take down this NFL player? It's like who's been training MMA seriously for years. I think.
Well, where is Greg Hardy training at this point? Because he's not at ATT anymore.
Is he not? I thought.
They like kicked him out a while ago. Like just like low key. Like we're like
they kick everyone out and bring them back, don't they? That's what they do.
Except Jillian. I remember when that.
To make room for Grant Dawson.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. I didn't know Grant's at ATT.
Yeah, Grant's at ATT now.
Oh shit! Damn, that's fascinating. That's very interesting. I did not know that. But we'll move on to the next fight here. Spivak Island will be for me and me only. But next fight, Kevin Holland.
I'm wrong, by the way, I hope I'm wrong.
Kevin Holland makes his return. You want to talk about hoping you're wrong? I hope I'm wrong on this fight. Kevin Holland takes on
Alex Oliveira. You are not betting Alex.
I said I hope I'm wrong, so obviously I'm not. I'm betting. I'm picking Kevin Holland.
Okay.
Short and simple answer. Like I watched so much tape on Oliveira trying to find. I was like the murder investigator trying to find the way that it's like this is the guy. Alex Oliveira is the guy to get Kevin Holland his fourth straight loss because he lost to Kyle Dawkins. I don't care what anybody says. That no contest is just terrible. But yeah, Alex Oliveira has looked beyond horrendous. I never was a big Alex Oliveira fan, but I could admit for a while he was pretty decent. I gotta say those days are over. His last 3 fights, it started with the Shavkat fight, which no shame there, but he got put away by Shavkat after a first round kind of just getting beat down. It was the Randy Brown one-armed rear naked choke where I really was like, oh God, we're falling all the way off the cliff here, aren't we? One-arm rear naked choke 3 minutes into a fight by Randy Brown was just like, that's another level for Oliveira, who just seems to be collecting paychecks for his 25 kids. Or however many kids he has now. I think he has 26. But either way, the Nico Price fight, the last fight, when his opponent meets him in the middle and starts the pressure, he wilts. Like he just does. And I just don't see in this fight with Kevin Holland, who is a huge welterweight, but does seem to make the welterweight division comfortably. That will be an X factor. We'll see how he makes the division from being a middleweight for a while, but I don't think it will be a problem. And I think he's got huge speed advantage, huge size advantage, reach advantage. I just think Kevin Holland plays with his food until he puts him away. And he finally kind of can do that in a fight, unlike a Derek Brunson fight, unlike, these other fights where he's facing way too good of guys to just go in there and talk to the people on the sides and shit. He can probably do that in this fight with Oliveira and still win. The UFC wants a highlight finish with some showboating for Kevin. They want to relaunch the 2020 Fighter of the Year. When he had 5 straight wins against horrible competition, but everybody freaked out about it. Kevin Holland at welterweight.
I thought it was some good competition, man.
Yeah. I'm just not. Yeah, I'm not a Kevin Holland guy. And to see him get such a favorable matchup on a main card of a pay-per-view is wild, but it is what it is. Kevin Holland is going to walk right through Alex Oliveira.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. I think walk through him.
I think so too, but I don't have 100% faith in Kevin Holland because of the last 3 fights. And I do think Cowboy Oliveira is always entertaining. He's always fun to watch. But how sustainable has that been? Not very, because he's been getting finished recently by these guys, by impressive fighters. Randy Brown's really, really good.
Shavkat Rakhmonov.
Shavkat's really, really
He's pretty good, isn't
he? Yeah. Anybody who picked against him is crazy.
I remember, I always think about the Chael Sonnen video when he was saying every time a fighter moves down in weight, they're usually not as good as if they're to move up in weight. It's just because you're cutting way more. So it's going to be interesting to see what Kevin Holland brings at 170. How the power translates, how the speed translates, and if his ground game's improved, because Cowboy is pretty good everywhere. He's not a slouch really anywhere, and he's tough, We'll see if he hangs in there with Kevin Holland. But yeah, it's just a Kevin Holland kind of night. And I do agree with you. The UFC is trying to kind of reignite that fire with Kevin Holland, kind of make him the guy, or not the guy, but just.
They would love for him to be relevant in the 170 division. They want Darren Till back. They want these guys who chatter and have entertaining styles. They want them in a spot where they can be.
His Instagram's popping off. We'll see if Kevin Holland puts pressure on himself to like really perform. Because if he goes in there and just fights, I think he does really well. But if he puts like that extra pressure on him to please his Instagram following, to please all these people that really really like him from that 5-fight win streak, then I could see it just not being. He'll still win, but it might be like not impressive in a non-impressive fashion.
Yeah, no, I pretty much agree with everything you had to say there. Lewis, what are your kind of thoughts on this fight?
I agree with a lot of what you just said, Josh. The only thing I'll say in the Sonnen where people move down in weight, I completely agree. There's only a couple examples where they're kind of not true weight, like Jose Aldo.
Yeah,
I thought he would absolutely struggle at 135, and he's looked pretty damn good, to be honest, especially in like the later years. But Kevin should have always been a welterweight. He shouldn't have been a middleweight. And that's where I'm like, he didn't even cut weight to make middleweight. He just walked in was like, oh, I'm 2 kilos over, So that's all it was for me. So I think you're fighting a guy in Alex Oliveira who is a lightweight fighting a welterweight. Like, this guy is small.
Right,
He's not a welterweight for a start. He's super crafty, but he's got no chin, no gas tank, and he gives up too easy these days. And that's what I don't like. As soon as it gets a little tough for him, he's like, I roll over, play dead. Kevin hangs in there. The trash talk ain't going to be any factor in this because Alex don't understand English. So that's fine. So he's just going to be shouting at him, shouting at the crowd, trying to get.
I'm sure Kevin learned some Portuguese for this fight.
Yeah, probably. He's just going to say boa boa the whole time. But I think Kevin's got super, how he knocked out Joaquin Buckley with a single shot. The guy's got serious power, and it will translate because he's so fast and he's got really good timing, uses his range really well. I think he's good. I think his ground game also is underrated. You've only seen it on his back when he's getting taken down by wrestlers. Marvin Vettori is a very good wrestler. Brunson, took down Jared Cannonier. You're going to take down Kevin Holland, So I think I wouldn't even be surprised if he makes a statement and goes, I'm going to take Alex Oliveira down and work his guard, does something like that, because that's what he does. He wants to make a statement. But yeah, I think walk through him, run through him, slice him open. He's easy peasy for Kevin Holland in this. I think he's going to piece him up within seconds. Straight away, you're going to see him open up with a question mark kick into a 1-2 and, just start doing wheel kicks and stuff because he's going to be chewing with his food here.
Yeah, no, I agree. And the odds, Kevin Holland minus 330, I agree with it. And
I think it should be more. You got a middleweight fighting a lightweight.
Yeah, I mean, I can't really disagree with anything there. I would still put Kevin Holland in parlays. And when I'm saying it when he's over minus 300, it says everything you need to know. I don't think there's much of a chance here for Oliveira, for real. So, yeah, that fight's on the main card for some reason. I don't know why, but it is on the main card.
Kevin Holland, baby.
Kevin Holland.
They must really like the Brazilian Cowboy, right? That must be it. Okay, good. That's it. Next fight here is absolutely great fight at featherweight. Pretty classic matchup here. Bryce Mitchell, Thug Nasty, taking on Edson Barboza. Real quick fun fact about Edson Barboza: he was the first fight on the prelims of the first fight card I ever went to. UFC, I believe, 123, headlined by Rampage and Machida. It was also the last time that BJ Penn ever won a fight when he knocked out Matt Hughes in 10 seconds. I was there.
Dude.
Yeah, I'm very, very old. Like, you guys weren't even born when that fight happened. But Edson Barboza on that night stopped Mike Lulo with leg kicks. And there was about 100 people in the crowd for that prelim, that's really when no one watched the prelims. Like nobody watched the prelims back then. But of course, I was there from the jump.
How dare you?
And I mean, so like, if you go to an event, you'll see there's like no one in the crowd for the prelims.
You get tickets, like, how are you not going to go watch every single fight? It's like
these days, people still don't watch them these days.
Yeah, people will show up halfway through the main card and leave before the main event. It's crazy. I don't know why.
That's because they're rich.
Yeah, I don't know why. Yeah, exactly. They just like don't even know what they're doing. But Mike, the leg kicks I heard from Edson Barboza that night on Mike Lulo will stick with me for my entire life. I've just never heard anything like that. You like heard tendons snapping. It sounded like someone just took clothes hangers and were breaking plastic clothes hangers, and it was his shins slapping in to Lulo. And that's just Barboza. It's been who he's been for a long time. Definitely the age is catching up. The damage is catching up. 36 years old now, taking on the Arkansas representative, 27-and-a-half-year-old Bryce Mitchell. 5'10", 70-inch reach, so he's definitely smaller on the featherweight side. But we know Doug Nasty, 14-0, undefeated, super aggressive, impressive grappler, putting together the other aspects of the game.
One of two men to only get a twister.
Yeah, he's got the twister on Matt Sales, which was one of two. Obviously, Korean Zombie being the other. Wins over. He's since being in the UFC faced a decent level of competition. I mean, Bobby Moffett, Matt Sales, and Charles Rosa, I don't rate that highly. The Feely fight showed me a little bit more, but definitely taken such a step up here against Edson Barboza. This is by far the fastest, best striker he's faced in his career. And so it's going to be really interesting to see how he reacts to that. Edson Barboza, obviously getting later into the career, taking a lot of damage now, 22-10. So 32 fights to 14, but he's, lost his last fight out, been in some wars lately for sure. Got knocked out by Giga in his last fight. Obviously, Giga is a world-class striker. Before that, the wins over Makwan, Americani. Americani just, it was. What's that?
No, I was reading minis.
Oh, yeah. But, Americani, pretty much a pure grappler. He did show some pretty strong defense in that one and then really just put it on him. And, again, it was just like a level difference on the feet that was kind of undeniable. Shane Burgos, just a reminder, Barbosa's not dead yet. I think that for Bryce, it's all about the takedowns. Like, obviously, can he get those takedowns? I am just not sure he's going to get close. It's kind of like I think it's a commercial where it's like, I can't let you get close. Like, whatever that is, that's got to be Barboza. That's
Sonnen and Silva, yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's okay. Yeah. So Sonnen, it's a meme. Yeah, I can't let. Yeah, the Ultimate Fighter. Yeah, it's Sonnen in flip flops defending against Wanderlei. He needs to engage full Sonnen here. I can't let you get close. I can't let you and not shoot for the takedown. And Barboza, I think, can just keep this in. I think Barboza is going to keep this out of the danger zone. I really do. And on the feet, Bryce Mitchell's going to be a couple steps behind and the shorter and smaller opponent. I like Barboza to get a decision. I would love to see a finish out of Barboza. I'm always rooting for him here, but I like Barboza as a dog here, man. I'm quite surprised Bryce Mitchell is the favorite in this spot. I just think that Mitchell, is going to have to show some significant improvement in what I've been able to see in the last few for me to side with him. So I got Barboza turning back the wheels of time for a little longer, getting the decision win here over Bryce Mitchell.
Forgive me, Lewis. Did you make a video on this over on Norton MMA?
I have, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Steve and I did it.
Yep.
You want me to go?
Yeah.
It is a grappler v striker matchup, isn't it? Really, but
yep.
What the thing is, where Andre Feely was successful, he landed a lot of shots, a lot of low kicks, trying to slow down Bryce Mitchell. But the difference between Barboza, his leg kicks, and Feely's leg kicks are a world apart. So it's going to be real tricky for Bryce to get the takedown here. But that's where I'm worried because he's super confident he's just going to rip him to the ground. A lot of people I talk to are super high on Bryce Mitchell. You would be shocked at the comments disagreeing with my pick on Edson here. I think
he's a favorite. The odds makers like him.
Well, Edson is the favorite, yeah.
No, Bryce Mitchell is the favorite.
There you go. Yeah, so yeah, everyone's betting on Bryce. It's super bizarre because I think he's
Justin. I said 5:30 during the Cage Warriors breakdown. You can go back and watch the rest before. But go ahead. Sorry, Lewis.
No, you're good. Yeah, I just think he's got really good takedown defense. I think he's fought the who's who. You know, the losses on his record. You know, before the Shane Burgos and Macron fight is Dan Ige and Paul Felder, and they've both split decision. I thought he actually beat both of them personally. So it's so close. You know, he's been fighting Dan Hooker, Justin Gaethje, Melendez, Dariush, Khabib. These guys are
all better than anybody that Bryce Mitchell's ever fought.
Easily, yes. And he's still in there. What's good about Barboza is the fact he can trade in the pocket. And if you try and take him down, he's got the Jose Aldo approach. He just stands straight back up and knees you in the face. Every single time. He's got springs in his ankles. You take him down, bang, straight up. And that's the problem. Andre Fili got up 9 times. He reversed Bryce Mitchell 4 times in that fight. That's worrying to me. Bryce was obviously pissed off in the interview afterwards, saying, I did these wrong, blah, blah, blah. Edson ain't looking to sweep. He's looking to stand up and kick you. And I think over 5 rounds, this is a problem. Over 3 rounds, Bryce might have a chance. But I do favor Edson. I think these leg kicks are going to eat up. I think that has to be his game plan. Stick him, move, use that low kick, because he will chomp Bryce up, and Bryce has no offense that is going to scare Edson Barboza.
I agree. And I think in Lester Khabib Nurmagomedov, there's a certain point where that undefeated record plays against you, and that's why I think he has this ultra confidence of I can't fail. He hasn't.
Yeah,
and I think it's important in MMA to fail. Actually, and it's easy for me.
This is going to be his exposed party to me. I don't think Bryce is going to.
Or he's really showing what a high level.
If he does Barboza,
yeah, seriously,
I'm on board.
I'm really surprised by the odds being with Bryce Mitchell minus. I'm seeing at minus 180 right now.
I'm not surprised because he talks really well. He's controversial and he has got skills.
Plus 140 for Edson Barboza.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, but he's coming off a loss. People think he's old and he's finished. He had the worst weight cut in the history of weight cuts against Giga.
Right. And he could have that again. That could happen again.
And he was in that fight, no problem, until that 3rd round. So
right. But if that happens again, there are possibilities here. Personally, though, I do like of the dogs I've taken tonight. Edson Barboza is my favorite underdog on the card. So
that makes me feel better.
Plus 140 for him. Sorry, Romanian Nick. I got you still too, but you're only, not quite as much of a dog that I enjoy here. Plus 140 on Edson, I do think is worth taking a stab at. I think he has the ability to finish or to get this fight by.
Are you on Edson as well, Josh?
I just want to say I really love Bryce Mitchell. I think he's an awesome personality. You're good, but it's like this is the last fight I'll say anything about it. How sustainable is training at Searcy, Arkansas, basically just in the middle of nowhere. You're lifting logs every day, and you just have a guy that comes over and holds pads for you. It's just not a real gym. It's not a gym. There's nothing that you're training. But if he wins this fight, then I can't say anything about that anymore. It's like you're literally fighting a guy that's seen absolutely everything. How are you going to show him anything different? And that's where I don't see him being able to show him anything at all that Barboza hasn't seen. That's why I got Barboza, but that's the last time. If he wins, I'm not saying anything more about Arkansas and training out of your trailer, essentially.
And Barboza's still at top team, right? He's still at American top team.
Yeah, he's still at ATT. And looking like he's in good shape for this one. So should be a really good fight. We're on to the co-main event. I don't like catchweight fights. Can
I get your prediction who is in this position quickly?
I think
sorry. There. Yeah, you froze for a second.
Oh, sorry. If Fiziev was still in this picture, who were you guys going to pick?
So I had RDA in this spot. And obviously I still have RDA in this spot. I think RDA has all of a sudden been like completely written off and as like for whatever reason like a dinosaur or done. I just think he's kind of been out of the public's mind for a little bit. I think people have forgotten how good RDA is, honestly. This fight being at 160, this fight being 5 rounds, those both benefit RDA, in my opinion.
It's 5 rounds as well?
Yep. I don't know why they made this 5 rounds, but that was – yeah, I really don't know why they made this 5 rounds. I don't know why Moicano would agree to it being 5 rounds. I think that every bit of this is an advantage for RDA. It being 160 is an advantage for RDA. It being 5 rounds is an advantage for RDA. Moicano coming in on short notice is an advantage for RDA. I think that Moicano beats a certain level of opponent, and it's like 2 to 3 levels below what RDA is. Moicano just beat, I think the level he beats is about a Hernandez level. And yeah, I mean, I appreciate Melissa being honest here. He's been out of the public's eye for quite a while here. And I think that losing to, such good levels of competition, it's like, let's just look real quick at, Rafael Dos Anjos. So I'll take a look at Moicano in a second, but Dos Anjos, 37 years old now, 30-13. I'm pretty good at picking his fights, 10-6 and 10-6 in his last 16. It's like he has not fought since he took a split over Paul Felder, and that was in November of 2020. Didn't fight all last year, and he's had a few fights scheduled, canceled for different reasons. Dos Anjos has had injuries, bout reschedules, positive COVID tests. The 170 experiment of RDA did not work, and I think that significantly lowered people's opinions on him. But, look at who he's losing to there. Colby Covington, Kamaru Usman,
Jesus,
Leon Edwards, even Michael Chiesa, which wasn't – and he did finish Kevin Lee also. So, in the 4th round. He's got 5-round experience. He's got wins over guys like Robbie Lawler at 170, Neil Magny. I just think RDA is so battle tested here, and I actually like quite a bit that he's taken the. All right, I like quite a bit that he's taken the time off to kind of recover from some injuries, some wear and tear. I think he's going to come into this fight really fresh. I like that he's coming into this fight at 155. I do think that's his division that he should be at, and I think against a guy like Moicano. We've said it a couple times tonight, but what is Moicano bringing to RDA that RDA has not seen? Moicano was in a fight a few weeks ago. I don't think that him coming in on short notice is a great route for him either, and I just don't see the route to victory for Moicano. I think RDA all day in the spot, and it being 5 rounds is even more of a reason for me to edge with RDA. I think RDA will get a finish somewhere inside this, but either way, I like RDA. Don't know if I bet a finish, but I like RDA.
Yeah, I like Moicano. We think of Moicano and we think of jiu-jitsu, submissions, that type of thing. Mm-hmm. But he really put the hands on Alex Hernandez, which I was like a little bit surprised by that he was able to hit.
So was Hernandez.
Those clean, but those clean power shots against Alex Hernandez. And coming in on short notice, RDA, I can't really see him getting knocked out. It's the things that I can't see happening. And it's like, I can't really see him getting knocked out by Moicano. I can't really see him getting submitted by Moicano. The only way Moicano can really win, and obviously he could definitely do those two, anything's possible, is a decision. And I don't see that happening either. I see RDA being able to put him against the cage and just kind of riding and grinding on him, hitting him with those inside knees to the leg, and then, breaking with the elbow and stuff like that, and just keeping him on the cage, kind of overpowering Moicano a little bit, even at 160. But there's always that catch weight bout. You find out who you're fighting on Monday. He's a completely different style than Fiziev, in a good way, because Fiziev is an elite striker. Moicano is obviously not. So he's been training for an elite striker, which I think is even a better best case scenario for Rafael Dos Anjos, because he can beat Moicano and he can beat him anywhere. But I see him like beating him decision wise. I don't see a finish here in this fight. I see him just kind of doing enough to win and putting on a classic RDA performance, which is just a nice, clean, unanimous decision for sure.
Yeah, I agree with you. Unanimous decision here for RDA every step of the way. I would have bet on Fiziev.
Me too. Yeah. Me too.
I think Fiziev is super dynamic. He's super hard to take down and hold down, and he's got a great clinch game, which is where RDA used to thrive. And I think that's his path to victory on this one. From just thinking about it, I think Aaron's spot on, where he's seen everything Moicano has to offer in someone. He's fought the lengthy strikers in like Leon Edwards. He's fought power punchers. He's fought people that can out grapple him. But if you remember how he actually won the title, I've thought of Moicano very similar to how Anthony Pettis fights. Very dynamic striking, really weird angles. Not obviously the crazy stuff off the cage or anything like that, but in just the way he plants his feet when he throws, he doesn't move laterally. He gets into the position, stands very square, and throws power shots. RDA is too clever for that. I think RDA, you're going to see a vintage. You're going to see him using his grappling offensively for once, because he's been using it defensively for the longest time now, which is why he seems to lose these decisions, because he's trying to counter people. But what won him the belt originally back in the day was him being offensive. If you remember that Pettis fight, he just grabs his legs, slams him to the canvas every round and grinds him. And I think he's been training for 5 rounds. He's been training for someone that is going to tear his head off on the feet. I think he's prepared for anything Moicano's going through. I think it's an easy one to predict. Moicano is good.
Why are the
RDA is still great.
Why are the odds so close?
Because he's 37 years old and he's got a lot of losses recently, and people don't analyze fights in depth as this. They look at it on paper and just go meh.
It's just as surprising that a short-nosed Moicano would
people might see striker. Moicano is a neck attacker. He's really slick at grabbing necks.
Yeah.
Yeah, RDA at minus 160 feels like another spot of one of my favorite prices on the card.
Yeah, I don't love it as a co-main event by any means, because I don't think it's not gonna very much get us excited for the main event.
Fiziev would have been great. RDA and Fiziev would have been very exciting.
I'll be honest, the co-main for this in my head is Marina Rodriguez and Yan Xiaonan. To me, that is fight of the night for me.
I'm okay with that, and with the co-main events we've been getting in 2022, this looks like goddamn gold. Parker Porter, Chase Sherman. I'm looking at you.
Wellington German.
Good morning. Yeah,
Wellington German.
I picked him on this stream last week. Do you know how hard it is to pick Wellington Turman out loud with people watching? Yo, man, I just had to. I was like, Serkinov has an atrophied arm. I can't pick him. And good morning, Eddie. Good to see you. Been waiting for RDA's gas tank to end, but he keeps proving me wrong. Exactly. And now this is 5-round fight that had to be RDA's management side's idea with the There's no way Moicano came in and is on 10 days notice is make it a 5-round fight and catch weight. Those were RDA saying, Moicano, you want to fucking fight me? I'm cutting less weight and we're going 5 rounds.
I'm a little disappointed that he's not fighting Islam Makhachev though.
Yes, I was about to say.
Oh no shit. Yeah,
that would have been so.
I guess I'm the only one who never believed that whole where everybody's like, oh, they're saying they want to fight. They both said yes. It's like, oh, cool.
And then Sean Shelby steps his toes in and goes, no, sir. We've got Islam with you. We're not wasting one of these fights.
Exactly. Islam is gonna Islam's gonna have to fight Beneil Dariush again. They're gonna just do that fight again.
That's not gonna be for 15 months.
Because of his
leg, man.
Yeah, he broke his fibula too. That's a
15-month minimum. He won't. It'll be his first title defense.
Yeah, when that news broke that fight was off with Fiziev, I saw Moicano's name thrown in there, and then right when I saw Moicano's name, I just kind of had a feeling it was going to be him. I don't know about you guys, but I just had that feeling. Moicano.
It's too good to be true, isn't it?
So Dana said Islam turned him down, and he's now going to fight Beneil next, according to that.
No, dude.
Maybe he's doing the Anderson Silva steroid heel.
Yeah, exactly.
Heal that leg up quickly.
Yeah, exactly. Get those roids in. Jeff Novinsky ain't watching. We are to the main event of the evening here. Been a great show. Shout out to Jillian for joining on earlier in the show. Josh, it's been fun having you. I know we're going to have you back on pretty regularly, I have a feeling. Really anytime you want to be, but main event, Colby Covington and Jorge Masvidal. Hopefully Bunny's house is okay. Whatever happened, a fire apparently. So hopefully the house is standing and everything. But we're to the main event here. Jorge Gamebred Masvidal versus Colby Covington, the rivalry no one asked for. Yeah, I don't know. This is a kind of a main event that for me, I'm not that excited about. I'm not that intrigued by it. I don't see there being a lot of routes that Jorge Masvidal wins this fight. I'd love to be maybe talked into it if one of you guys are more of a believer in it. But for me, Jorge Masvidal, he's got that puncher, that knee chance, sure. But other than that, I mean, you know, he's shown throughout his career that grapplers can get in and engage in the grappling and continue to engage in the grappling. And he hasn't really shown me that he's improved that aspect. Colby Covington, I think, is not running any FCs that I know of. He's not currently running any bare knuckle organizations. He's not trying to start a rum company that fails. He's not, like going on reality shows that I know of. I'm pretty sure Colby Covington is still like an MMA fighter. I don't know. Is Jorge Masvidal in 2022 still an MMA fighter? If he wins this fight, like all of a sudden, like, whoa, we're back in the Jorge Masvidal business. And I guess I was wrong. I just don't see that happening. I think Colby Covington knows what he needs to do in this fight. They're familiar with each other. Colby Covington has the better gas tank. He's the better wrestler. And that's where it's going to go. I just think like Colby Covington is even able to, I think, strike with Masvidal at some points in this fight. I just don't think he needs to predominantly do that. But yeah, it's just like I just don't see a scenario where Colby loses besides getting like a miracle KO, like getting caught. Like Colby Covington, by however he wants, probably gets a decision.
Do we know how many fights Jorge has left on his contract? Anybody?
Maybe 2, 3. I have no clue, honestly.
Because, you made a good point. He's got the Gamebred FC going now. Like, he runs his own.
He's got so many. He's got a training facility. He's doing all sorts of things that are icon. Like, he's doing a ton. And he's not training. He's at these events drunk. He's at these events doing interviews. Kind of reminds me of leading up to picking against Yoel Romero last time, which was the easiest pick ever. Because I saw Yoel Romero when he was at the UFC in Jacksonville being carried out because he was so drunk. And then he had a fight 2 weeks later.
Fucking Michael Chiesa and getting drunk, double fisting cups, walking to
exactly. Like I just don't like. I think that, and I don't. Not that it matters, and not that this is what we break down. But I don't think the beef is real at all. Like at all. Like they're.
It's definitely real. It's just exaggerated.
That's what I mean. Like they're doing a business move here. They're like, let's exaggerate it. Let's make some money. You're going to see after Colby Covington wins the decision, him going over hugging and saying it was just business, just like he did with Kamaru.
I bet you he don't for another business opportunity.
I hope. Well, yeah, I hope so. I hated that shit from the last fight. I hated that. Like, stay in character, Colby. I'm sick of him breaking character here.
Yeah, I could see how that was weird the way he did that. I liked it, but
I did not. That's why I didn't. Colby Covington isn't supposed to do shit where you say I like it.
Yeah, you totally broke character. You can't.
Yeah, like come on, bro.
What are you?
But either way, what are you like? Not even an actor. But for the fight, yeah, Colby Covington just is better, and yeah, this is just like Colby Covington's gonna win a decision over like Jorge Masvidal, and you're gonna be like, okay, like
yeah.
What does that prove at all? Winning a decision for Colby, like, what does that prove? Like, all right, he's in the mix.
I don't know if Jorge's like halfway in, halfway out in his MMA career. I do think he's doing this fight not because he genuinely doesn't like Colby Covington, but also he's doing it for a substantial amount of money. And yeah, it's just exactly what you said. Colby Covington has fought in Kamaru Usman twice.
I like Justin's spelling of Michelle Pereira here. Mitchell Pereira. He's a new guy.
I don't see that happening because Shavkat's going to fight him next, I think. But no, Jorge you don't really see where he can win besides standing up on the feet. If he knocks out Colby Covington's got a pretty decent chin. But I think what happens, and sorry, Aaron, I hate to say it, but I think Jorge Masvidal, leaves the UFC, maybe not after this fight, but maybe after his next one, and then he fights Jake Paul in a boxing ring. That's what's going to happen.
Super. I won't be breaking down that fight.
I'll be blocking people that.
It's so crazy how little I could care about that. That is like the least intriguing thing I've ever heard in my life.
That's just what I see happening. I see that.
Yeah, and if that's what you see happening, I can tell you right now, Jorge has both feet out the door. Then, if that's the case,
yeah, well, Colby Covington for sure. Decision.
I can completely understand everyone saying Cole. But before I'm going to play devil's advocate here for Jorge.
Yeah, please do. I'm curious what
because I am Colby here.
Yeah,
but not like he's just going to out volume him, completely cardio him, ragdoll him every round, and just beat him up on the ground. I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's trickier than you think. Every fight starts standing. Jorge and him know each other. They've trained for a long time together. Mm-hmm. That is a very important factor in this. He knows exactly how his wrestling works because he's shown him. He does the same style of defensive wrestling now as Colby because Colby helped him for 3 years with it, 4 years. It's super important in this. The difference is Jorge, just because people do MMA maths and it doesn't work, just because he got knocked out by Kamaru does not mean he is no longer a good striker. And that is all the comments I've been seeing. He won't even be able to strike with Colby or anything like this, right? I would still argue Jorge is a far, far better striker than Kamaru Usman. Like, easily. He's a very technical, gifted striker. He's got 50 professional fights. The dude is so crafty. He's got more than just one thing. If something doesn't go his way, fine. Like Wonder Boy, how much has he invested when he fought Wonder Boy? He couldn't get close. Okay, another loss. Fine. Journeyman mentality, took the time off, did that reality show, whatever. He came back, got a win over Darren Till, which he was getting pieced up for the entire fight until the knockout. And he beat a Darren Till that was struggling to even cut the weight, super dehydrated. Knocked out Ben Askren, which was it's Ben Askren. Nate Diaz is way past it. So those sort of wins to me I'm overlooking them. I think Jorge is way overrated, but I also think his style and the position him and Colby have been in together might cause a little problem for Colby. It might make it a rough night. It might steal a round or two. I do think Colby's going to win by decision. I don't think he's finishing Jorge. Jorge is tough to finish. He really is. I just think there's craft in him yet, and I really like Colby Covington. I like that he pisses people off, and that's what makes me happy. But I also really like Jorge Masvidal.
Yeah,
a lot. I'm a very long-term fan of. 2005, I started watching MMA when I went to Cage Warriors and saw Matt Thorpe lose to Dan Hardy. That was the first event.
Nice.
I've been a fan of Masvidal from then as well. So, his Strikeforce days are the best days in my head, but I hope he does something. I hope he upsets the apple cart here. I hope he turns the welterweight division on its head.
It would really be cool if because just for everybody here, if you're not subscribed to Fight Bananas, you should go subscribe to Fight Bananas because after the fights, Josh Byers does a UFC recap show for every UFC show. And it is over at Fight Bananas. I will be joining him and Ginger Pants himself for the recap show. And I would love to get on there and talk about how Masvidal just fucked everything up. Because if we get on and we're just like decision, like we're not going to talk about the main event at all. Then I'm just going to say I don't want to talk about it. Like if it goes the way we're kind of saying, how you said it's not going to. But if it does go that way.
No, it has the possibility. I just think there's still
like I don't want to hear a 50-45 Colby Covington.
No, me neither.
Like that is just.
I want to see him cut up. I want to see him. He's worked his ass off to get that win. If he has, But also, if he does win, he truly is the.
Yeah, let's see. Do you think Colby is scared of his roommate? It's like fighting older brother, best friend.
No. None of these guys are scared of anyone.
Yeah, I don't think
you would not do the sport if you're terrified of them.
Yeah, I don't think that's the case. And I get it. There's a lot of love for things about Masvidal that aren't fighting, And those are all the more reason why. It's like Colby Covington is still just a fighter, like he's not doing these other things. He did win arguably 2, maybe 3 rounds off Kamaru the first time. Like Colby
he definitely won 3 rounds.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. So it's like, these are things where it's like, if you're doing, like, I'm not trying to use MMA math, but I'm using MMA algebra here. And it's just calculus a little bit. But yeah, I'd love to be wrong on this fight. There's like 2 or 3 fights on this card. I hate saying it, that it's like, I hope I'm wrong on them. But at the end of the day, I think that there's some really good spots to play here. Again, I think Edson is a very, very live dog at plus 140. I truly do. I think that's the best dog of the night. I think the best favorites of the night. RDA at minus 160 is great. Totally good with that. And otherwise,
Marina,
for sure.
Jalen Turner, Marina.
Jalen Turner, Marina. I like those. Jalen Turner, Marina is a double up. I like quite a bit. You can add, I think Jacoby's a pretty reliable piece as well, in my opinion. But we'll see. But yeah, I think this is an interesting card. It is, definitely not the best of pay-per-view cards. But at the end of the day, we're not going to turn down fights here. And for the most part, I think the fights are very close. So, that leads me to I edge towards going to over 2.5s in spots like this a lot of times. So I get it. You go fight by fight, but these closely knitted cards like this, you often see a lot of decisions. So I think we might be in for a lot of decisions on Saturday night, personally, just based on the matchups. But that will do it for the 272 breakdown show with Lewis of Norton MMA and Josh Breezy Byers and Bunny for part of it. Shout out to Savage Robertson. We can't wait to see her fight next week against JJ Aldrich. I think that's a really great fight, in all honesty. But where I'm siding on that. So hopefully I'm siding on that side with some plus money. I'm not really sure. You go bet those. You're eating canned food all week. You're right, Justin. Thank you for that. As always, Josh, let people know where they can find you, what your what's coming up on your channel, what you've been doing, and everything. Whatever you need.
Thanks, Aaron. Thanks for having me on.
Anytime.
Go follow me at Josh Beezy. I think I'm going to do an Instagram live with Grant Dawson on Friday morning and just kind of run through the card, kind of like we did tonight, get his pick, and then also talk about him moving to American Top Team and how he's liking it so far, stuff like that. We have Don Shanis coming in studio on tomorrow night, Thursday night. So that's episode's going to be up over on Rooted MMA, where we kind of get fighters in studio and really talk to them, which is really cool to just really chop it up with these guys in person. I feel like you get a little bit more that way when you actually have them in. And then Ryan Leininger, we had him in last week, so that episode's coming out this week. Go watch that over on Rooted MMA. Appreciate you, Aaron. And then the Fight Bananas post-fight show. I got Beezy Money every week with an episode. Garrett Armfield just came out today. Post-fight show. It's going to be a late night Saturday night, but
that's right.
It's worth it. So.
And then, Visceral, just real quick asking, then I'll go over to you, Lewis, so people know. PFL Challenger Series breakdown is tomorrow with Lucky Locks at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. As always, Lucky Locks will be joining me for that. This week it's the 155 Women's Challenger Series. Oh, boy. I watched some shit tape, guys. Shit tape. Horrible. So please tune in. Don't make me watch that for no reason. Lewis.
Yeah, man. I just what I brought out. Marlon Moraes v Song Yadong came out when we did Cage Warriors. What was it, 8 o'clock for me? So 3 o'clock for you guys.
Love that fight.
One more from Justin. Justin, you type like shit, dude. Great show, you guys. Always great time. Maybe one day I can come on and show you don't sound like I'm Frankenstein learning to read for the first. You type that. I'm reading your words. Like, I love you, Justin. I really do.
That's funny.
Is this saying you sound like Frankenstein?
He's saying when I read his words, I make him. Apparently, it's my fault. He sounds.
Maybe there's
dumb.
more swag in it. There's more swag in it. I think.
Yeah, Justin just wants to come on so he can ask Bunny to marry him finally in person.
One thing I do want to say though is
yes, please do.
get promotion out there for it because it's evergreen content now for my channel. Worked hard on Fantasy Fights, which is a new series. The first one was St. Pierre v. Anderson Silva. They're longer, more in-depth, analytical kind of style breakdowns. But yeah, I'm trying to get those going. And I think the next one actually looks like it's going to be BJ v. Khabib, which has been voted.
Yeah, those will never. The nice thing about those will never piss off anybody.
Oh no, that's not true.
No,
that's not true already.
That's why I'm completely completely kidding.
You get hardcore fans of these legends. So if you when I didn't pick Anderson in the first one, spoiler.
Yeah, you bastard.
I
know because I'm the biggest GSP man.
Are you doing Brock in DC?
Yeah, Brock and DC got mentioned. And I put that out there, and a lot of people wanted that one as well. So
I like that one.
I think BJ Khabib is probably going to be the next one when I have time to do it, and then I will do because that fight was meant to happen. Lesnar came in, pushed him, and
I remember that.
But it's endless. It's endless. I think Steve put my emails for Khabib, and I was like, all right, give me some chance here. Jesus, it's fantasy, but it's like 5.
No, come on, Justin, don't pout here. But yeah, check out Norton MMA. For sure as well. Rooted MMA. Check those guys out. We're all supporting each other, and it's kind of rare in this kind of field, this community, to find so many supported people like the MMA Minute. Steve, shout out to him. Shout out to people like shout out to Edward Martinez Photography. Follow him on YouTube. Also, he's going to be getting ready to have some really cool content come out. He has some really great access, and his photography is fantastic. So check it out. Some really different ways to support the MMA community. Continue to appreciate the love here, everybody. This has been the UFC 272 breakdown show. I'll see you guys tomorrow for the PFL Challenger Series, 3 p.m. Eastern time with me and Lucky Locks. Peace out, everybody. Keep taking